Turn your preparation into a cornerstone for reaching the top of the civil services selection list. Get ready for the final personality test with the Vision IS Personality Development Program for the UPSC Civil Services Examination 2024. The program offers in-depth depth analysis sessions with senior experts and faculty members, realistic mock interviews with ex-bureaucrats and educationists, interactive sessions with toppers and serving bureaucrats, personalized performance evaluation and feedback. At Vision IS, we prepare you to excel in areas like communication, current affairs, critical thinking and more, essential for the UPSC CSE final interview. The UPSC CSE arena is an ever-evolving space where staying up to date becomes as crucial as maintaining a thorough preparation. With strategic planning and holistic coverage for exam syllabus, Vision IS Delhi presents GS Foundation course. Avail analysis and integration of current affairs with GS syllabus. All India test series with an innovative assessment system, inculcating post-test analysis, discussion, All India ranking, and more. Explore the holistic learning modules intrinsically designed for the ideal aspirant.
Yeah, good afternoon all. Very good afternoon, everyone. Now, welcome to Vision IS. Let us start with the discussion regarding the optional geography paper 1. This is for optional geography paper 1, which was conducted recently. My name is Jay Krishna. I'm a faculty for geography environment. I've been taking classes right from 2008, right, for a prolonged time period. Fine, that is my background. Let us start with this one. Before going to see the type of questions that were asked, since you are planning to go for the futuristic exam, and it's not like you already have written the exam and again you are sitting here to discuss the what type of answers I did and what type of answers should be written. So I presume that all you people are for the future exams, not for the already conducted exam. For that, whenever you need to have a very great planning, whenever you want to go for planning, how to prepare, where to focus more on, where to spend more time on, whenever you need to do all these things, this analysis is very important. As all you people are well aware of the syllabus that is there, like geomorphology, climatology, meaning what? The physical part and the human part that is there in the paper 1. See the chapters geomorphology, climatology, oceanography, biogeography, environmental geography, which are in the section A. Then comes the section B, the perspectives in the human geography, economic geography, population and settlement, regional geography and regional planning, nothing but regional geography, and the last one is called as model theories and laws in the human geography. These are the entire syllabus that is prescribed in the paper 1, right? Now, where you need to focus more on, where you need to spend more on, where there must be a very great advantage to get more marks. This analysis is imperative for every student, imperative for those people who are preparing for the optional geography. Now see here, this one, the trend right from 2020. If at all you are analyzing the trend, in 2020, in the case of geomorphology, there were 3 questions totaling to 50 marks. Then 2021 again 3 questions totaling to 45 marks. 2022 4 questions are given, 55 marks. 2023 3 questions were there, 45 marks, and in the year 2024 just 2 questions are asked for 30 marks. This is the trend that is happening. Whenever we are seeing these trends, you will be having some idea where to focus on, how many questions can be there, and you can go to the previous year question papers and you can even refer these particular numbers, 1B, 2A, 4A, and you can get the insight about where the questions are asked, whether it is asked in the first question, because the first and the fifth question are the compulsory questions, where it is asked, whether it is in the first question. If at all you are seeing continuously in the first question, which are compulsory questions, where definitely there will be a question 1B, 1A, 1A, 1E, 1A. Therefore, from geomorphology, at least one compulsory question will be there. This is what the trend that is happening. And so you need to focus more on the geomorphology. Definitely one or the other questions, maybe it may be related to plate tectonics, or maybe the continental drift, maybe the landforms, maybe whatever the one. Even now in the year 2024, it was related to the landforms, right? Landforms has become a very important question this year. Last was in the last before years where the questions were asked upon about on the basket of egg topography, like where the basket of egg topography will be discussed basically in the glacial. See, always the glacial is having somewhat more edge over the aeolian or marine landforms, especially either it may be the fluvial or the glacial is asked more in the landforms topic. Then this is with respect to geomorphology. When it comes to the climatology, see the again trend. Something brief introduction was given regarding this one. There is a trend of asking 3 questions, whatever I explained, it is given here, right? Then when it comes to the climatology, again see the climatology, almost all equal preference, meaning what? The basic chapters geomorphology, climatology, oceanography, biogeography, and environmental geography, they are having very great weightage in the entire paper 1. Specifically in the question number 1, compulsory the questions will be there, because that is the compulsion. There is no other way to escape. Whereas in the question number 2, 3, 4, or maybe 6, 7, 8, where you may have some choice to escape and you can choose either this or that. But whereas in the question number 5, question number 1, you cannot escape. You have to write something, right? And so where you are getting the questions basically from, see this one. Again 2020, 3 questions are asked. 2021, 3 questions were asked. 2022, 3. 23 again 4. See the case even in the 22, it is 4 in the geomorphology. If it is not in geomorphology, it will be in the climatology. 4 questions can be asked. Then in the year 2024, 3 questions. Minimum 3 questions are compulsory asked from the climatology. And when it comes to the first question, see the first question. Because it is a compulsory, 1 is there, 1B, 1C, 1A, 1B. Compulsory, a question will be there with respect to the climatology. The most demanded question, topic you need to refer with respect to the paper 1 is geomorphology, climatology. Coming to the oceanography, again see the trend. 3 questions, 3 questions, 3 questions, 3 questions, 3 questions. A consistency is maintained here in the oceanography. And with respect to the compulsory question, 1C, 1C, 1D, 1D, 1B, 1C. Again there is a compulsory question. This is the trend that is completely followed. Geomorphology, climatology, oceanography, the questions are continuously asked. Should be paying more attention on. Minimum of 40, 45 marks will be there from the oceanography. Whenever you are having very great command over the core subject, normally where the students are more interested, they are trying to solve more with respect to the current. They are trying to solve more with respect to the so-called bouncer type of question which are unexpected. The people are more interested to answer those type of questions. They will be focusing more their time, attention on such type of questions, but which is not required. First of all, you should be having the great command over the core subject. Once the command is there with respect to the core subject, automatically those things, whatever the people call that one as bouncers, you can manage those bouncers. I will show how to manage even in the paper, whatever the paper it is given like. Now, coming to environment. Nowadays, I forget to give this one, biogeography. Come on, let us talk about biogeography. The biogeography, again, whenever you are seeing this one, there is a continuous trend. Minimum 3 or 2 questions are asked. 2023, then 21, 2 questions, 2 questions, 2 questions. Again, 2024, 3 questions were asked. Minimum of 25 to 40 marks are going to be there from the biogeography. And with respect to the first compulsory question, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. As a condition, it will be given there. Then environmental. No need to tell about this environmental part. Definitely a question in the compulsory question will be there. There is no chance of missing the question, because more environmental concerns are happening, because everything is connected with the environment right now. Soil environment, the land environment, ice caps environment, water body environment, nothing but climate change. Climate change water body, climate change land surface, climate change soil erosion, climate change agriculture, climate change whatnot. Everything can be connected. And so this particular part becomes very, very core for you in the even the forthcoming exams also, right? Then see the weightage. The weightage is keep on increasing. Weightage is increasing here, and even in the future it is going to have greater weightage, right? Then this is where the people get stuck up. In fact, the human geography, where you need to spend some decent time, it's not like more or less, optimum time should be spent. You should get a very great knowledge with respect to the geography from only this part. This part is the one where it understands the capacity of the personality. If you are more, if at all you are an optional student, you should be having more knowledge about this one. How the subject called as geography has grown over a period of time. Who are the contributors? This is the basic one. But what is happening in the recent times, right from 2020, if at all you are seeing the trend, the questions are keep on decreasing. As earlier, they used to ask more number of questions, like 3 questions, 4 questions were there on the human part, but right now, it is keep on declining. Even in the year 2024, there were just only 2 questions, the basic questions. And mind you, first of all, whenever you are keeping more attention on this human part, you cannot skip not even a single mark. Whatever the weightage that is there, 25 marks, you will be getting exactly minimum of 20, 22 marks will be there. Because the human part is such a part, there is nothing to overwrite or underwrite. You can write whatever that is given in the textbook as it is, and you will get the marks. It is the part where you can get the answer, means marks easily. But majority of the students, they try to keep in a lower pace, because it appears to be, sir, it is completely theoretical in nature, completely we need to spend more time on this one. But your interest should be here, because you are in the subject called as geography, and if you don't know how the subject got evolved, it's very difficult. Who are the contributors? Who are the main propounders? Who are the people who develop the subject as a very greater discipline? All these things are given in the perspectives, and you need to focus more on the perspectives, right? Maybe in the future, the trend may change. But as of now, it is having the lower weightage. Minimum 25, 30, 35 marks are there, right? Then, these parts, there is no excuse. These are all the current related. What is happening right now? Economic part, nothing but agriculture, nothing but transportation, nothing but from where the people are getting more revenue from. How geography is helping the people to get the greater economical muscle. This is what the economic geography, which is very, very important. As an administrator, what is the prime responsibility for any administrator? In order to bring the economical strength for the people in your district, right? Whenever you want to bring the economic strength for the people who are living in your district, you should be knowing your type of soil, your type of climatic condition. You need to bring some betterment in the agriculture. Then only the economic muscle of the people will be increasing. And so this part plays a major role. This is a practicality. This one, along with this one, the three with the models. They are highly practical oriented, where you can apply the things in a practical world. This is the one where you need to write even the examples with related to the current examples, like what is happening in the case of India with respect to that particular planning. Maybe they are talking about the rural development, or maybe they are talking about the tribal welfare. They're talking about the agricultural development. They may be talking about the soil health. Whenever such type of questions are asked in these topics, you need to give the live examples. Sir, from where the live examples can be brought from? Always you need to have a command over Yojana and Kurukshetra. Minimum 1.5 year of Yojana and Kurukshetra should be there at your fingertips. Why? Because it is the Yojana and Kurukshetra will be providing the statistics, the data. Data will be given, the programs, the analysis of the program, what type of success was there in the program, whether the program implemented was highly successful or not, all the entire information. Moreover, what type of new reforms needs to be brought in that particular sector, maybe in urban development, maybe in the town planning, maybe in the urbanization, maybe in the agricultural area, maybe in the soil health. What type of new programs needs to be brought, whatever the program implemented, what are the lacunae in the program. Everything is given in a very, very crispy manner in the Yojana and Kurukshetra. Why? Because, why Yojana and Kurukshetra only? Why not some other magazines? Why? Because they are the governmental magazines. Whenever the criticisms are also given by the government itself, meaning what? It is fact. Though it appears like a critic, but the government is accepting, yes, this is the fault that has happened. And so we need to plug in hole, nothing but we need to see the solution for this challenge. The challenges are very important. Whatever the challenges that are enlisted in the Yojana and Kurukshetra, whatever the suggestions that are given by the scientific researchers or the scientific personalities in the articles, you can make use of their suggestions, you can make use of their ideas as it is, and you can suggest in your answer as if that is your suggestion. Is it clear? Where do you get the ready-made input for these topics? Yojana and Kurukshetra. And not only for the geography optional, these Yojana and Kurukshetra, they are very much important for even the other papers also in the mains part. Paper 1, GS1, GS2, GS3, you find you can include all the information, whatever the information, known information is there, you can make use of that information in paper 1. You can make use of the information in paper 3, environment, right? Also in your optional. The optional is the one which will be giving greater advantage for you so that the information can be utilized in any paper, right? This is about the economic geography. See the weightage. There is a consistency that is there. 4 questions, 3 questions, they are compulsory asked, even population geography. When it comes to population geography and environment, economic geography, population geography is having more weightage than the economic geography. See the population geography continuously 60 marks, 50 marks, 60, 65, 60. No other topic is having so great weightage here. Even the chapter like Geomorphology is having the weightage of around some 40, 45. Climatology 40, 45. Then oceanography 40, 45. Biogeography again 30, 40. Then environmental geography 40, 35. Whereas this one, the population geography, more than 60 questions. Meaning what? It shows that, this analysis shows that where you need to focus more on. What type of inputs? Again, Yojana and Kurukshetra. The topics with respect to the population, like even in the GS1, there was a question with respect to the changing pattern of the fertility rate and the replacement rate in the world countries, where it was not with respect to India, also there was no much news in the newspaper. But in the world countries, the people are talking about entire population. The young population is keep on declining, where the people use the term called as demographic winter, right? See, that can be also, in fact, that question, according to me, that should be a question in the optional part, right? But because as n number of countries are undergoing such type of trend, that as in the general trend, right? See the population geography. Very, very important. Where the people will be settling, where the population is growing, whether the population is growing in a optimum manner, or underpopulated or overpopulated. All the trends are given here and the weightage is very high. Out of all the chapters, which is having the greater weightage, the population and the settlement geography. Then comes to regional part. It is, somewhat technical in nature. The subject itself is technical. How to select a region, what type of betterments can be implemented, whether the conditions like the gender differences can also be taken there for the regional development. These are somewhat analytical oriented, and so whenever such questions are asked in the regional planning, always your answer will be given more marks whenever you are giving the live examples. Whatever happened in the recent past, whatever is currently happening in and around you, whenever you are giving these examples, then your answer will be getting more marks. Or else, if at all you are just giving only the concept that is there without examples, never, that will be given more marks. See the trend. What is happening? The importance is around some 20 to 25 questions. Only in the year 2021, 45 for 45 marks that was asked, right? This is the regional planning and the last chapter. See the last chapter, where this is the overlapping of almost all every chapter, like economic geography models are there, agriculture model, then industrial location model, like what is the other model? Industrial location model, the agriculture model, right? All these are the models that are related with the economic geography. Then population, the demographic transition model, Vantushan population theory, right? These are the models. Regional planning again, growth pole, growth engine, growth pole, growth centers, Chrysler's model, right? All these are the models that are related to the, and what is the weightage? Around 40 to 45 marks. The same trend is followed. And don't decide that that particular question is easy, that particular question is difficult. In fact, whoever is there in the exam hall, they will be facing the heat. They are the people who need to write. Who will be giving the statement like this question, it's very easy question. Oh my God, this is very difficult question. Who will be giving the statements? Those people who are not there in the exam hall. Right? After coming out of the exam, everyone can give greater statement. So it is very easy. What is this paper? It's so simple paper. No. No paper is simple. No paper is difficult. It depends upon your mindset and your preparation level. Whenever you are there in the exam hall, whether that particular idea is flashing in your mind or not. Right? After the exam, everyone will be giving the big statements like, what is this question? Such a simple question, such a hard question. Everyone will be giving the vague statements. Don't come into these comments, don't come into these criticisms, right? Normally students will get, sometimes they get demotivated by listening these statements like, oh my God, the question paper is very simple and I didn't get much marks. Don't go into that particular trance, right? Always feels like, whether it is easy for you or not. It's not whether it is easy for the entire society. Who is bothered about the entire society? We are not bothered. Whether it is easy for you or not, you keep that in mind. If it is easy, meaning what? You worked hard. You read about that particular concept. You know that particular term. When you know and if you see that one in the question paper, it is called as easy. If you have not read and if it is there in the paper, it is difficult, right? Is it okay? Don't come to that conclusion like easy, difficult. Nothing is easy, nothing is difficult, right? It appears easy if at all you know, it appears difficult if you don't know, right? This is about the trend. Very, very important. This type of analysis you need to make in your optional, and you need to focus more time, more collection of data, collection of more information, especially, especially the second part, section B, where you can get more data, more information, more statistics. It is the source I have given already. Yojana and Kurukshetra. Try to give this particular data, whatever is given in the magazines, in your exam, right? Because that is considered to be authentic. Whereas other data is also there. Like, you can take the data with respect to the climate. I'm talking about only these things. Economic part, population part, the regional planning. With respect to these three, the very, very important input is Yojana and Kurukshetra. Is it clear? This is the first part of the explanation. Once you know the analysis, where to work, how to work, where you need to spend more time. Then let us talk about the present paper, right? Let us talk about the present paper. What is there in the present paper? See the present paper. Whatever the questions that were asked. Go through the paper. This is the first question. The first and the fifth question are compulsory questions, as you know. Just I am again giving the introduction. The first question will be having five sub questions, right? Each question carries 10 marks and you need to write briefly within 150 words. If you can give the overall picture of that particular topic, then your job is done. No need to go to the very micro level, but you need to give the overall topic and give the examples. There ends your job, right? See the question. The first question that was asked, like, what are truncated spurs? Where and how they are formed? The question which is asked, like, where and how they are formed? What are truncated? Meaning what? The moment once you see any question, identify the key terms. What is the question about? What it is demanding? What is the question about truncated spur? And so, in your answer, what is the evaluator expecting? You have defined what is truncated spur. And the next part of the question, where and how they are forming. Where and how they are forming? Areas. Where means what? The areas. How means what? Mechanism. Right? Your answer should talk about the basic, the definition of the truncated spur. Then what is the agent that is making? Then how it is formed and where it is formed. If these 3 or 4 components are there, like definition, then a diagram, a small diagram, then what is the agent it is forming, where the places are, how the process is happening, then your job is done. Basically, the students will be talking about, sir, I have written the entire. See, what was the answer that was, what was the big question that was asked to me? After attempting this particular question, the people came to me and they are asking, sir, I have written whatever the question demanded. Yet I am having this much of space left over. Because the space is also there, the space constraint, the space is left over. What shall I do? Shall I fill up something with the extra information? No need. When your mind says that, yes, I have written enough to that question, even though the space is there, you leave that one. No need to worry about, no need to fill up that space. Whenever you are trying to fill up that space, what happens? You will be writing all unnecessary things, where the impression on your answer, whatever the answer it is written already, the impression on that answer will be lost. Answer don't try to fill up. Normally, this is the unique case. Earlier, what type of conditions I faced, like, the students used to come there and they used to tell that, sir, I'm having so much of information, I want to write more information, but the space is not there. Earlier, the type of queries that were there was this type of query, but right now, the query got completely changed. Sir, I have written all the things that the question is demanding, yet I am having space. That is a unique condition. Recently, that is what the condition I am facing. Got the point? Meaning what? What is supposed to be written, what is supposed to be drawn. If whenever any space is left over, try to fill up the space, not with the wordings, with the diagram. Make a neat sketch. See here, what is this truncated spur? Whenever you are seeing this one, you might have come across in the fluvial landforms, the so-called interlocking spurs, right? Of course, even in the glacial erosional landforms, you might have read about the truncated spurs, right? Even the G.C. Leong general book, we are not talking about the oceanography or geomorphology of Savinder Singh. I am not talking about the bulky books. A small G.C. Leong book also has referred truncated spur. But what is this one? Basically, whenever you are seeing the spurs are given in the book with respect to the fluvial landforms. That spurs are like this one. What are these spurs? Which are called as interlocking spurs. These are the interlocking spurs. These are the mountainous, the ridges of the mountains where they are getting interlocked like this one. See, this is what the spur. right? Whenever the river comes like this one, whenever the river is coming here, the river waters are coming like this one. The river waters make a U-turn, meaning what? The river water takes a meander turn like this one. This is what the river. And the river water will be flowing like this one. Could you see these projections? Could you see these projections? The projections which are just like zipping like structure, like zipping, how the zip will be having. And so the mountainous ridges are locking one against another, which is called as interlocking spur. This is what the interlocking spurs with respect to the fluvial. When it comes to the glacier, see, fluvial is the one where the river can move in a very small, gap and with a small volume also. But whereas glacier, whenever the glacier is moving, what is glacier? Huge ice is a river of ice. Whenever the glacier is moving, what happens? From here, you cannot find the moving of the water in a meander. If the glacier is coming, the glacier moves straight because it's a huge block of ice. Whenever it moves straight, then what happens to this area? See this area, what happens to this area? This area, if the, say for example, the glacier is coming from here, in this entire region, you can find a very great U-like structure like this one. The area develops into a U-like structure. Earlier the area was having the spurs like this one, the ridges of the mountains in this fashion, because as the river was moving like this one. But now the ice has accumulated here. Now the ice is entering into this area. When the ice enters into this area, you can find a very great falling of the ice into this area. And the ice will be sliding like this one. When the ice slides like this one, this becomes a U-shaped structure. When earlier the river was moving, it was just like, where the mountain ridges have cutted in between the two mountains where the ridges got locked up. But when now the ice is moving, what happens to all these bisections? All the bisections were bifurcated, and the ridges, whatever the ridges that are there, the ridge of the mountain appears to be bisected. That is what called as the bisected spur, nothing but the ridge of the mountain by the glacier. Meaning what? It is a glacial erosional landform. This is called as the truncated, nothing but bifurcated or bisected the ridge of the mountain. This is about the truncated spur. First of all, one second. Yeah, these are the truncated spurs. What you need to define the truncated spur as a landform made by this is a landform made by the moving glacier. Is a erosional landform. Whenever the glacier tries, what do you mean by the glacier? It's a huge block of ice which is appearing like a moving river, the ice river, right? Whenever it is moving, the ridges of the mountain get eroded, appears like if at all the ridge is getting eroded, appears like a triangular structure. These are called as the truncated spurs. These are basically formed because once upon a time in that area the river was flowing, the interlocking spurs were there. Later that interlocking spurs got converted into truncated spurs. This is what you need to write in the body. After the definition, you need to write explain the body. Explain truncated from where the glacier carves into V-shaped valley, creating a U-shaped valley. Why V-shaped valley? Earlier the river was flowing. When the river was flowing, it has created a V-shape. Now it has converted into U-shaped valley. Why U-shape? Whenever the huge glacier moves, it appears U-shape, producing the truncated spurs. And you need to draw a small diagram there. Then, see, originally they are the interlocking spurs. Originally they are the interlocking. First of all, the moment once the glacier is there, it's not glacial takes all of it sudden. Whenever the glacier is there, the glacial melt water will be forming a river, and the river will be moving. When the river is moving, what was there? Interlocking spurs are there. Later, over a period of time, because of more and more formation of the glacier ice, then it forms a U-shaped valley because of the movement of the glacier. Right? This is what you need to talk about the one. Right? If we can talk about where they are formed, what is the demand of the question? Where they are formed? How you have explained? Initially it was the river, then the glacier moves, and so it bisects the ridges of the mountains, which are called as truncated spurs. This is the how part. Where it is formed? They are extensively formed in the glaciated areas. What are these glaciated areas? You can find in the areas of northern Canada. You can find even in the case of the Alps mountains. You can find in the case of Himalayan mountains. In the Himalayas, you can find extensively. In the Alps mountains, you can find extensively. In the northern Canada, you can find, even in the northern Norway, you can find the truncated spurs. These are the areas where you can find the glacial landforms. Right? This is about the first part of the question called as the truncated spur. Then see the second part. Many of the students, they are asking, sir, I know that temperate cyclone. In our classes, we discussed temperate cyclone extensively, but it depends on condition of axis of dilation. I bet no textbook, no material, whatever the type of textbook you are talking about, whether it may be Savinder Singh, whether it may be G. C. Leong, whether it may be the so-called Majid Hussain book, whether it may be whatever the books that are being prescribed by the market, by the coaching centers, never you came across the word called as the axis of dilation. This very axis of dilation was not known to the students, whoever they are sitting in the exam hall. They are reading for the first time. What is this? Even no coaching center explained. No coaching center explained what is this axis of dilation, because that is not known even to the people who are teaching, right? Because that is not given in any textbook, and so the people have paid very least attention. See, this is what the question that is asked in the UPSC. That is what UPSC will be giving one known part, one unknown part. How to write? Can we skip this one? No, we cannot skip because it's a compulsory question. You have to write. Then you need to apply your acumen. You need to apply the knowledge, right? What is this one? You know the temperate cyclones. You cannot leave. Definitely you have to write. What is these temperate cyclones? Temperate cyclones are formed because of the convergence of the contrasting air masses, right? When the temperate cyclones are forming because of contrasting air masses, definitely there is a axis that develops in between. What is that one? The frontogenesis, right? Whenever they come on both the sides, you can find the frontogenesis, the formation of the front. Exactly that area where you can find the difference of temperatures in the air mass, like one is warm and one is cold. Whenever they are there in between against to each other, then the line of division, the line that is dividing the both, that is what called as the axis of dilation. You need to have your own understanding. You need to assume, you need to imagine, and then you need to write this one, because there is no other way out. You have to attempt this one. Never, you can't skip this one. You have to write, because this part you know. This part, temperate cyclones, you know very well. And how can you dare to skip this question? You cannot skip. So you need to take some risk. That is what the risk appetite you should be developing. What is that knowledge, what is that acumen, what is that information where you need to develop is whenever what is axis, basically axis is the one which is a dividing line, right? Whenever you are talking about the two masses, the air masses, one is the contrasting cold air mass and the other one is the warm air mass. When both they are coming in opposite direction, definitely there is a line separating. This is what the axis, and wherever it is moving, wherever it is bending, meaning what, whichever air mass is dominated into other air mass, then you can find what is called as the cyclones, temperate cyclones. You might have come across this type of pictures in your preparation. You might have come across these pictures, right? Now see this one. What happens in the first is what happened in the first is, this is the line that is separating the cold air mass. This is the cold air mass, this is the warm air mass. All you people, whenever you are preparing for the cyclones topic, temperate cyclones, you might have seen this picture. This is the initial stage. This is the wave stage. This stage is called as wave stage. What do you mean by wave stage? One air mass, especially it is the cold air mass, which has underneath the cold air mass, when underneath the warm air mass and uplifted. The moment once it has uplifted, now you can find the bending of this axis. Earlier the axis was straight, but now the axis got bent. Whenever it takes a bend, then only can find the formation of the temperate cyclones. This is what called as the axis that got bent, nothing but the dilation has happened. The projection of the cold air mass into the warm air mass. Whenever the cold air mass is taking initiation from the bottom, what happens to the warm air mass? It is uplifted. It is uplifted, right? This is what is the one called as the axis of dilation. And the rest of the things, all whatever you know, that you need to write. The next stage is the mature stage. What is that mature stage? You need to talk about more bending, meaning what? More dilation. Then the next one is called as the cyclogenesis stage, like this one. Right? This is whenever you are writing this one, it itself take care of this particular terminology. Right? Go ahead. Expansion. What do you mean by expansion? Even whenever you are talking about the temperate cyclones, if we have read temperate cyclone perfectly, see this one, the intrusion of one air mass into the other air mass, right? This is what cold, this is what warm. Whenever the cold is intruding into the other air mass, right? So look at the picture itself. The picture itself is self-explanatory in nature. What is happening here? Could you see this volume of the air mass? Could you see this volume of the air mass? It is keep on reducing. It is keep on reducing in size. See this one? The warm air mass is reducing in size. Here, almost completely reduced, whereas the cold air mass is increasing, nothing but expanding. That is what the dilation, right? That's what, what is the point here? Be very honest. Like, we know only half of the question. We don't know the half of the question. So, we need to take a chance, because that half, whatever we know, is perfectly known to us. We cannot dare to skip that particular question. And so, you need to take the risk. You need to take the risk and you need to explain. There your knowledge, innovation, your creativity, there it will come. Right? This is what UPSC is demanding. In that such adverse condition, when you don't know, are you having the appetite of taking the risk or not? That is what it is going to check. It is a check of not your knowledge, it is a check of your character. Got the point? It is checking, it is testing your character, ability, whether you are taking the risk or not. Is it clear? We can imagine, we can assume something like this one and we can give the answer. Because where we have read dilation, now I have been teaching right from 2008. Very honestly, I am telling you, never in the classes I use the word called as axis of dilation when I was explaining temperate cyclones. Absolutely not. But the student, whenever he is writing, he should be, since he is the one who is there in the battlefield right now, in the exam hall, you are the one who are having the sword in your hand and you need to fight. The so-called faculty or the institution are not, they are not behind you, right? When you are there in the exam hall, you need to take the risk, you need to imagine. Your intelligence capacity should come into the picture. Is it clear? This is what the question that is testing your risk appetite. Is it clear? Because see this one, this is completely tempting. The formation of temperate cycle, everyone knows. Even the GS student can write better. Forget about the optional geography student. The general studies student can write a better answer for this one. But this one, no textbook. I'm telling you, after reading this particular question, literally I searched in the Google, what is this axis of dilation? And I didn't find much good number of images also. Many of the websites they are not mentioning, but one website called as NOAA. There is a website called as NOAA, National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration. Such a important the valid, you can mention that one. You can take the name of this website and you can refer some of the videos that are there. They are highly authentic. That website is managed by NASA, the National Aeronautical Space Agency, which is from American Space Agency, right? That is called as NOAA, National Ocean and Atmospheric Administration. That is the only website where it is talking about the axis of dilation. Is that clear? No textbook talked about. Is that clear? There are certain videos which are of the University of Harvard University also explaining the temperate cyclones, but even there also never they came across the word called as axis of dilation. Fine. This is what the one. NOAA. What is the one? National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, right? This is about the temperate cyclones. Just go ahead. Whenever there is a convergence, then only can find the dilation. Whenever it is divergence, there is no question of dilation. Right now, just now, what we have explained, dilation is nothing but expansion. Literal meaning is whenever you are talking about the cyclonic activity, then only the convergence takes place. What is anticyclone? Anticyclone is a opposite condition, divergence condition. In the divergence condition, there is expansion. Okay, it is coming only in this one, right? Then, after this one. The third question. See the third question. With suitable examples, explain the factors causing the sea level changes. What are the, see the question appears to be very general question, but you need to write in a geographical way. It's not like I'm writing the sea level, sir, sea level is changing because of global warming, ice is melting, rise of the water. No, you need to explain in a very beautiful way. There are, in fact, you know what happened in our test series, Vision IAS test series, the question was asked, what is the difference between the eustatic changes and the tectonic changes with respect to the sea level? That is what exactly the answer here. In the Vision IAS test series, in the optional test series, the question was asked, what do you mean by eustatic changes in the sea level and the tectonic changes in the sea level, right? That is what the exact answer means. What the question that was asked and the answer that was model answer that is given there is the exact answer for this one also. With suitable examples, see the point. The moment once you read the question, identify the keywords, examples, number one. Then sea level. How the sea level can change? There are two major factors. One is either the size of the or volume of the sea should be changing, or the volume of the water should be increasing. Very broadly, thinking in a very, very broad manner, there are two types. One is the size of the sea should be reducing or increasing, then the sea level changes. Other one is the volume of the water should be increasing or decreasing, right? And so you can modify your answer in this way, like tectonic factors. Other factors is called as the climatic factors. You can divide the answer into two types. How the sea level can change, either because of the tectonic factors or because of the climatic factors. What are the climatic factors? The first and foremost one, melting of the ice. More the melting, more the volume of the water. The second very, very important one, not just melting of the water, whenever the water temperature rises, the expansion of the water happens. Whenever there is expansion of the water, it requires more space to occupy, and so the coastal areas will be submerged, right? That is what the expansion. Then with respect to the other factors like the tectonic factors, what is the tectonic factor? Nothing but whether it may be expansion of the seafloor or the contraction of the seafloor. Where do you find the expansion of the seafloor? Wherever the ridges are there. Where do you find the contraction of the seafloor? Wherever the trenches are there. And so the best example is the Pacific Ocean. Pacific Ocean is the one which is contracting in nature, whereas Atlantic Ocean is in the mood of expansion. Therefore, because of the contraction and extraction, also you can find the sea level changes. The third factor, there is another factor called as, this is also related to the tectonic also, but we can write separately or even you can include in the tectonic. What is the third factor? Is called as isostatic adjustments. What do you mean by isostatic adjustments? Isostasy, you might have read about this one, isostasy. Because of the cold glacial time period, at that point of time, the huge glacier got pressurized the ground area, the land area, and so the adjustments that were happening in the asthenosphere, the movement of the magma to the other side leads to submergence. And the area, because of melting of the glaciers, now there is no such pressure, and so the coastal areas are slightly rising continuously, right? Slowly, continuously they are rising. The best example, the coast of Norway. The best example, the east coast of India, right? All these are the best examples for the isostatic adjustments. The Greenlandian coast, that is the best example again, right? These are all the answers you need to explain with respect to the question. Always you need to divide the question in two parts. If demanded, 3 parts. But according to the demand of the question, you need to give the answer. Examples you need to write, explain the sea level. You divide the factors for the sea level changes into 1 or 2 or maybe 3, like tectonic, like climatic changes, like isostatic changes. Then explain this one briefly and give the examples. If you are giving the examples, that is more than sufficient. See, this is what we given here. Even they talked about the Greenland ice melt. You can give that one also, and also the El Nino factors. What are these El Nino factors? Again, the climatic factors. Whenever the huge blow of the air is there along the lower latitudes, on one side the sea level will be lower. Wherever the offshore winds are there the sea level will be lower. Wherever the onshore winds are there you can find the sea level rising. The rising of the sea level there, which is called as a seesaw pattern. The water level should be straight like this one, but the water level will be like this one in a seesaw pattern. That is what the factor called as the El Nino conditions, right? All these are the things we can mention. But the main character, what is that main character? What you need to develop in your mind is seeing the question, dividing the question, splitting the questions into 2 major key points. Whenever you can divide the question into 2 or maybe 3 according to the demand of the question. If you can divide that one, and whenever you are writing the answer, always that key point should be there in your mind. Whether you are writing exactly to the question or not, you need to keep on checking, right? This is about the third one, 1C. Then 1D, all the other compulsory questions. Examine the impact of social forestry in the socio-economic transformation of the rural areas. In fact, whenever you are simply reading the topics, you will feel like this question is a very common question. But whenever you are empathetic, see, all you people need to be a leader in your area. Meaning what? You want to be a IAS officer. Meaning what? Who is an IAS officer? Is a greater administrator who can bring the betterment for the people. Betterment in terms of social security, betterment in the case of economic security, the betterment in the case of physical security for the people. That is what you need to provide for the people, right? Whenever you are reading simply as a student, sir, social forestry, and social forestry is nothing but community, involvement of the community, where the more and more forestry is there, afforestation can be done there, more planting can be done. If at all you are simply reading, you never understand the importance of this particular concept. If you feel, if you can change the life aspects of the people in the rural areas, then you can understand the importance. What type of activities can impact the life status of the people in the rural areas? The small things, the small changes, whatever the small changes you bring as an administrator can impact some hundreds of families in the rural areas. This is one such type of question. The small events, like, whenever you are making the people participate, the people feel that they are more attached. Whenever the community is getting participated, definitely the program is highly successful. Take this statement as a standard statement. Whatever the governmental programs are there, you talk any governmental program, some of the governmental programs will be highly successful, some of the governmental programs will not be so highly successful. Why some of the programs are highly successful? Wherever the community participation is there the success is for sure. When the community can be participated, the community needs to feel like, yes, it is for the betterment of their own benefit, right? Whenever I feel like it is for my benefit, definitely I will be working more. That is a general human attitude. Whenever you are getting benefited, definitely you will be interested more. You will be not out of force, but out of interest you will be working. When you will be working out of interest, suppose if your father is keep on forcing you, come on beta, IAS bano, you never will be. If it starts from within, definitely no need to push you up, no need to motivate, you will be self-motivated. This is one such program. Don't simply see, sir, social forestry, easy question, sir. Not so easy. It's easy when you are involved. If at all you are not involved, is also a difficult question, right? Don't judge whether it is easy or difficult. It's not the one, but it is the commitment. What type of commitment you are doing. See this one. Now, with that background, see the question. Examine the impacts of social forestry. Impacts of social forestry on whom? Rural people. In what way? In the social, the life of the people is getting impacted. Not only this one, the economic benefit of the people. How the social economic aspect, you can say that yes, the social forestry is there where the community is participated. After selling that forest produce, the community will be getting money, economic aspect. But how you can explain the social aspect? How can I explain talk about the social aspect? Whenever the forest is rich there, first of all, the ecology of the region get benefited. You can find the groundwater reserves, increasing of the groundwater reserve. You can stop the soil erosion there. Whenever the soil erosion is stopped there, whenever the groundwater is there, whenever the fertility is there in the area, the people, agricultural activity will be very high. When the agricultural activity is there, food security is high. When the food security is there, the good health conditions are there. Fresh oxygen is there for the people. Also, the people need not to spend money for the sake of food, fuel. They can collect the forest produce as a food. They can collect the forest wood as a fuel, the grass as a fuel. They can use the fuel there. Need not to spend any money. When the money is not spent, then that is itself is a benefit. Moreover, by selling these products, they are getting some money. This is the socio-economic transformation. One particular aspect can change the entire region. All the people in that area can get benefited. That is what the impact of the social forestry. Right? That is the impact of social forestry. And whenever the people are having very great greenery there, say for example, the people are asked in one particular area, the people are asked to grow such type of products where they are having the nitrogen fixation character. When the nitrogen fixation character plants are planted there in that field, on the other side, the very tall trees which are having the capacity to hold the moisture for a greater time period, when both they are there, the people can cultivate the land throughout the year. Permaculture can be possible. Permanent agriculture can be possible without applying any nutrients, because nitrogen is naturally fixed, the water is naturally available as a soil moisture. These are the economic benefits. Is it clear? These are the benefits, both transforming the social lifestyle of the people, at the same time economic, bringing the greater economic capacity for the people. That is what you need to explain. See here. The best example. What are the best examples? There are good number of such examples where the social forestry has brought such a great transition in the rural areas. One is right now the Niti Aayog is asking. See the current development. Right now Niti Aayog is suggesting the government of Ministry of Agriculture to go for, especially in the northeastern India, to go for a program called as, not on a program, on a mission called as shifting cultivation, shifting agriculture mission. A mission on shifting cultivation. Meaning what? What is happening in the northeastern India basically, and also some of the other parts of India, shifting cultivation is prevalent. What is shifting cultivation? Which is degrading the forest. The people are shifting by slashing the trees, burning the trees. Therefore, the degradation is happening. In those areas, what the suggestion given by Niti Aayog? Let us go for a program. What type of, it's not program, it's called, it's a mission. Go for a mission called as shifting cultivation mission. Let us start a mission there. This is what the suggestion given by Niti Aayog, so that the people can get more economic benefit and also social transformation from such type of program in the northeast India. Therefore, when the people are getting the returns in those areas, wherever they are staying, why the people will be shifting? Basically, why the people are shifting? In want of security, food security, and the economic security. When they are getting secured there itself, wherever they are living, there is no need to move from one area to another area. These are the things. Like the best one, the joint forest management in India. Also in the other countries, like, in the country like Malaysia, there is a program called, there is a type of activity called as Ladang program. Whereas this one, Ladang system, not program, Ladang system, this is called as Taungya system in the Myanmar region. These are some of the examples. Then finally, you need to give the conclusion. It is a social forestry program which can transform the entire society in terms of socio-economic conditions of the people, right? Then, the mountain regions are more fragile to ecological changes. What is this one? Whenever you are seeing the vision test, optional test discussion. In the optional test series, we have given the same, almost all same question. Let me see the, read out the question. See the question. What is the question? What are the major factors contributing to the environmental hazards along the mountainous slopes? The question was asked in the vision test series. As it is almost all, what are the major factors contributing to the environmental hazards along the mountainous slopes? That was the one. This is the question where it is given in the UPSC, like mountain regions are more fragile to ecological changes, elucidate. That is what the question. What is the trend? See the trend. What is the trend? The question which is related to the environment hazards were asked in the year 2022. Were asked even in the year 2016 also. 2016, 2022, again 2024 the question was asked. Why such type of questions are asked? Because major developments are happening. What type of developments? Is it a great beneficiary development or no? The degradation is happening, like GLOF. What happened in the case of Sikkim? The glacial lake outburst flooding was there. What happened in the is Wayanad in the Kerala? Greater landslide happened. What happened in the region like Papua New Guinea, that is present in the eastern side of the Indonesia? The entire country has waited for the international help. Our NDRF team went there. Why? What type of disaster was there? It was the landslide disaster. Almost the landslide that happened was brought to the lower reaches, submerging all the entire settlements that are present in the Papua New Guinea. That's a small country. Because of very great debris that was falling, the government cannot tolerate there, asked for the international help. Our India responded swiftly and went there and responded there. See, all these are the things that are happening along the mountain slopes. When such things are there, you need to refer as an example in the UPSC, right? What is the key point here? Mountain slopes, mountainous regions. That is what the keyword, mountainous region and ecological changes. Along the along the mountain slopes, basically it is called as the transition ecosystem. Basically, along the mountain slopes, what type of conditions are there, what type of ecological conditions are there? Transition ecological conditions, which is called as ecocline. In terms of ecology, it is called as ecocline. What is cline? Cline is nothing but gradient. Gradient is nothing but difference. Ecological difference is there as and when you are moving vertically up. Why the such ecological changes are happening? Nothing but the species composition, the type of species that is present there will be keep on changing. Why it has to change? As and when you are reaching particular height, what happens to the temperature, what happens to the pressure condition, what happens to the availability of the moisture conditions, all the changes. When all the changes, the ecology also changes. And so they are highly fragile in nature. Is it clear? That is what the basic meaning of the question. And then you need to talk about the concept of this one and say talk about the recent examples. Like you can talk about the examples of our Sikkim, you can talk about the examples of our Joshimath of our Uttarakhand. You can give the example what happens to the slopes of the mountains there, what happens to the Chamoli district of Uttarakhand, what happened to the earlier in the Himachal Pradesh, the great flooding happened there, right? Why they are highly fragile? Because they are the one where the ecological changes are happening on a rampant scale, right? Also you can give the latest example as the Wayanad, right? These are the examples you need to talk about. These are the first 5 compulsory questions that are asked. Coming to the second question. What is the second question? See the second question. With respect to the second question, second A, there was a case study explained in the Vision IAS material. In the material that we have given, which is called as a value addition material, there was a case study explained exactly on this one. What is the question? See the question. Examine the recent views on mountain building processes and divide the world mountains on the basis of their genesis. This is the core subject of geography. Mountain building process. What are the mountain building processes? How the mountains are built? What are the varieties of mountains? Let me put like this one. How many varieties of mountains you know? Fold mountains, block mountains, volcanic mountains, very good. Relic mountains, right? Fold mountains, block mountains, volcanic mountains, relic mountains, horst, nothing but the block or the horst mountains, right? These are the mountains that are there. How they are formed? All they are because of the geomorphic processes, the endogenic process, exogenic, because of exogenic, relic mountains are formed there. The endogenic process, you can find the fold mountains. What type of endogenic process? Like the convergence of the plates. Whenever the ocean plate converging with the other ocean plate, it forms what is called as the volcanic mountains. Because of subduction, when the plate is getting melted, the volcanic material will be keep on oozing out and creates a tall mountains called as the volcanic mountains, right? Then whenever the collision of the plates, like ocean plate colliding with the continental plate, the continental landmass, since it is less in density, because the collision of the oceanic plate, the land get folded, creating the Rockies, Andes, nothing but the folded mountains. Whenever both the plates are continent to continent, whenever they collide, both the sides, you can find the formation of the fold mountains. The best example, the Himalayas, right? These are the mountains you need to talk about, right? This is the question which is there in our core part, the core part of our geography syllabus. What are the basic views of the mountain buildings? How the mountain building activity is happening? When we talk about the basic recent views of the mountain building, you need to talk about the plate tectonics, the convergence of the plates, divergence of the plates, convergence of the plates with respect to ocean to ocean, the ocean to continent, and all these things. Also, you can name some of the people, the contributors to the plate tectonics, like Mackinder, or not Mackinder, sorry, the Parker, Morgan, like. Then also you can mention the great personality called as Tuzo Wilson, J.F. Morgan. Also you can talk about the Parker, right? Mackenzie, right? All these names you can refer. because these are the people who are the proponents, not proponents, contributors to the plate tectonics, right? This is the basic concept which is the complete core part of our geography. Also, whenever you are talking about the divergence, whenever the plates are getting diverged, we have seen the convergence. Also, whenever they are getting diverged, you can find the fault. Because of the fault, also you can find the mountains, which are called as the block mountains, right? Vindhyas, Satpuras, the best example. Osgas mountains of Germany, right? All these are the best examples for the fault. That is what is given in a neat out sketch. You need to draw the pictures. Whenever you are drawing the pictures, do you remember the pictures that were there in our textbook or the classes where the pictures were given like this one? This is the oceanic plate. Whenever it is colliding with the other oceanic plate like this one, this is the water. The melting of the plate happens, and you can find the eruption of magma. Wherever the eruption of magma is there it forms. Right? These are the pictures. Do you remember these pictures? These are the pictures that are there. Like suppose if this is the oceanic plate, this is the continental plate, and within the continental plate the area get folded up like this one, and here you can find the melting. Therefore, you can find the eruption of lava, and you can release the magma there on the top, and you can find the fold mountains. Within the fold mountains, you can find the volcanic mountains, right? These are the things that are there. Then you need to say, you need to draw the pictures, you need to explain, since it is a 20 markers, right? You need to explain in a very, very clear manner. Then describe the latitudinal distribution of the Köppen's classification of the world climate. A direct question from the core part of our geography. Köppen's classification. Köppen's classification is a highly accepted classification. It's a very simple classification out of all the other classification, like Trevorthas classification, Thornthwaite classification, where they are considered to be somewhat complicated, but Köppen's is a very simplest form of the classification, since he has taken only two weather parameters. One is the temperature and one is called as precipitation. By taking temperature and precipitation, he calculated the type of vegetation that is present there and divided the areas into 5 climatic zones and 12 climatic regions. What are the 5 climatic zones? Like warm and humid. The next one is called as the hot zone, the hot and humid, the hot zone, then warm temperate zone, cool temperate zone, then the last one is called as the polar zone. He has given the symbols like A for the hot and humid zone, B for the hot zone, C warm temperate zone, D cool temperate zone, E the polar zone. And within the A, you can find the subdivisions. What type of subdivisions? Like, A, nothing but the very warm zone, the hot zone, hot and the humid zone, is having the rainfall throughout the year. If it is the rainfall in a seasonal manner, it is a monsoonal type. Whenever it is winters dry, it's called as AW. When it is summers dry, AS. In fact, the summers dry cannot be there normally in the tropical areas. Therefore, it is having less importance than. Whereas the B, dry type of climatic condition. What is a dry type of climatic condition? Where it is having B, S for steppe, B, W for arid. Within this one, B, steppe, hot, B, steppe, cool, B, arid, hot desert, arid, cool desert. You need to give the examples for all these things. Where do you find the steppe and the hot desert? Steppe and hot desert, nothing but the savanna. Steppe and cool desert, temperate grasslands. Whereas the warm and the hot deserts, Sahara, Atacama, then Thar. Warm and cold, dry and the cold desert, Ladakh region, Siberia. Then you can talk about the Patagonia. Right? These are the one. Also, you can find about the sea, the cool, warm temperate. It is CS, summers are dry. C, W, winters are dry. Then D, you can find the cold climatic condition. These are nothing but, D is nothing but cool temperate zone. Within the cool temperate zone, you can find DF, meaning what? Cool temperate, but rainfall throughout the year. The best example, British type. right? All you need to mention each and every symbol. You need to explain the character of this one, and you need to give the example. It shows that you are having the greater command on the topic. You mention the symbol, explain the character of that symbol, and give the example. Your job is done. The question, since the question itself is asking the same thing, describe latitudinal distribution, where you need to find where you will be finding this A is restricted between the equatorial region. Then you can find the B in the tropical regions, especially the western margins, 10 to 30 degrees latitudes. C between 30 to 45 degrees latitude. Latitudinal distribution, you need to explain the latitudes where it is present. At the same time, Köppen's classification with the symbols, description of the symbol, example. If we can explain in the form of a chart, more than sufficient. Right? This is about the Köppen's classification. Then, see, with suitable sketches, meaning what? Diagrams, you need to draw the diagrams. Elaborate the bottom topography of the Indian Ocean. See, why this bottom topography is so important? Especially in the year 2024, do you know what happened? Recently, the government of India has sent a proposal to the International Hydrological Society and got the acceptance to name some of the ridges on behalf of our Indian names. We have named 3 structures under the Indian Ocean on behalf of our Indian names. One is called as Ashokan Seamount. This is what the current affairs here, Ashokan Seamount. What is a seamount? Seamount is a tall mountain that is present inside the ocean, which is not appearing above the water surface. If it appears above the water surface, it is called as island. It is the tall mountain which is coming up to the close to the surface. The name of the seamount is called as Ashokan Mountain. Who is Ashoka? Again, the Mauryan dynasty. Right? The next one is called as Chandragupta Ridge. Right now, there is a Chandragupta Ridge in the Indian Ocean. Every geographer, every fellow who wants to read about the Indian Ocean, they need to mention this one as Chandragupta Ridge only. Don't you think that we have read so many such type of ridges, so many such names? Are we not following or what? Do you read read that particular name called as Humboldt Cold Current? Now, why we need to follow only their names? Our names will not be followed or what? Now, whoever wants to read the Indian Ocean, they need to compulsory read this one, Ashokan Seamount. The next one is called as Chandragupta Ridge. Then other one is called as Kalpataru Ridge. There is a ridge called as, one more ridge is been named as Kalpataru Ridge. What is Kalpataru? What is this Kalpataru? Nothing but it is a prosperity. Right? Whenever you are having Kalpataru means what? Basically it is called as the cow which can give more and more prosperity for you. There won't be any food shortage for the people whenever that is there in that house. Right? No, basically it is in the Sanskrit language, when anything is giving more prosperity, where you won't be having any scarcity of the food, where you don't have any security threat, that is considered as a Kalpataru. Yes, Sanskrit term. This Sanskrit term, right? This is what the Indian Ocean. And what are the things you need to explain here? You need to talk about some of the basins like Bay of Bengal Basin, Andaman Basin, Arabian Basin, the ridge like Carlsberg Ridge, Somalian Basin, the Madagascar Plateau, Mascarene Plateau, Mascarene Basin. The Mascarene Basin and the Mascarene Plateau are the one which are even in your climatology you'll come across. Somewhere the air is subsiding there. That is what the Mascarene Plateau, Mascarene Basin. This is the Mozambique Basin. And this is a channel called as Mozambique Channel, the Madagascar Basin. Right? This is the Central Indian Ridge. Then Chagos Lakadiv Ridge. What is ridge is nothing but the magmatic eruption that was appearing just like elevated structure. This is what the Chagos Lakadiv. What is the current news with respect to the Chagos? Chagos Archipelago? Very good. Not Malaysia, but for Mauritius. Right, very good. At least you are having, see, this type of development, any such development is there, which was a long pending decision. When that the Diego Garcia Island was taken by the Americans after the World War II, Mauritians were demanding this particular archipelago to be under their control right from World War II, but never they have given their colony back to the Mauritius, but it happened in the year 2024. When it happened in the 2024, of course, majority of almost all the Chagos Islands were given to the Mauritius, but except one island, Diego Garcia, that is the exemption. When such exemptions are there, probably questions can be there. Maybe in your prelims, maybe in the mains. What is Diego Garcia? What is the Diego Garcia significance? This can be a question in the future. What is Diego Garcia? It's a very important atoll island that is present there. It is the nuclear arm base of the Americans. Once upon a time, civilians were there, Diego Garcians were there, but Americans asked all the fellows to get out of the island forcefully, and all the people went out. British recently said that, okay, Diego Garcians, you please come back. I am going to give you your Chagos, at least to be stay in the Chagos Islands. That is what the British is trying to pacify. The Americans are not willing, and because of the pressure by the pressure given by the Americans only, Britishers are unable to give Diego Garcia, because all the arms are present there. In order to vacate that one, it takes so many years, right? Even today, Diego Garcia, though archipelago, complete archipelago was given to Mauritius, the Chagos was given to Mauritius, except one island, Diego Garcia. That is the exemption. Could you understand? Such type of things can be asked specifically in your UPSC. Whether it may be prelims or maybe mains, you should be on your toes, right? And so always it is the current affairs which decides or which guides you to prepare in that particular fashion. Which topic is important, which topic is unimportant, who will be telling you? The current affairs, right? This is about the West Australian. This is entirely the factual question that is present, and it is regarding the Indian Ocean. Then, see, this is the connecting topic with respect to, again, temperate cyclones only. There the temperate cyclones were given like, dilation of, axis of dilation. They are talking about temperate cyclones, right? That is for 10 markers. But here, this is the one which is for 20 markers, and explain air masses and associated weather dynamics. How do air masses influence the weather conditions in the northern hemisphere? Almost all connecting topic to that of the temperate cyclones, because the temperate cyclones are because of air masses. What do you need to talk about? First of all, identify the key terms. Explain air masses. The very beginning, in the beginning of our answer, you need to define the air mass. What is air mass? Huge mass of air having homogeneous character. How they form? The very next, after the definition, you need to talk about how they form. Whenever the air remains stagnant over a flat surface for a stipulated time period, then there is exchange of characters between the surface and the air mass. Means what? The air. Whenever there is exchange of characters, the entire air turns into a homogeneous packet called as air mass, right? Based upon the place where they are taking birth, they are of different types. Then types of air masses. You need to talk about varieties of air masses. The air masses like tropical air masses, the continental air masses. First of all, divide the air mass into different types. Like, say, for example, what is the condition for the formation of the air mass? Whenever the air remains stagnant over a flat surface. This very flat surface can be land, or the flat surface can be water. If the air is remaining constantly staying there for stipulated time period, maybe 1 year, maybe 10 years, maybe 6 years, whenever it is staying there, then the exchange of the characters will be there. Then it forms into the air mass like this one. Then it forms into the air mass, right? Whenever the air mass is taking birth on the continent, it is called as continental air mass. If it takes birth on the water body, it is called as maritime air mass. If we say it is a continent, the continent can be located in the tropical areas. If it is taking place in the tropical areas, it is called as tropical continental air mass. It is called as tropical continental air mass. If it is tropical land, tropical, it is called as tropical continental. If it is land mass and if it is water body, it's called as tropical warm water body. Put it like this one. This is tropical area, this is a polar area. Say for example, this is a polar area. One is the land mass. The land can be present in the tropics. The land can be present in the polar regions. Then it becomes polar continental air mass. If it is a water body, the water body can be present in the tropical areas. The water body can be present in the polar areas. Whenever it is tropical water body, it's called as tropical maritime air mass. Whenever it is polar region, polar maritime air mass, these are the major air masses. Apart from these air masses, these are the major air masses that can create a violent temperate cyclones. Apart from these air masses, there are some other air masses which can be taking birth from the equatorial regions. You need to, because this question is not with respect to the temperate cyclones, it is talking about the air masses. You need to talk about all the air masses, like the air masses that can take birth in the equatorial regions, right? Those air masses, the varieties of air masses you need to explain. After giving the definition, the mechanism, how the air masses are taking birth, the types of air masses, what is other key point? See the key point. How do air masses influence weather conditions? Where? Northern hemisphere. The best example. What is the best example? The northern part of the Canada, especially the Laurentian region, though it is located in the cold temperature regions, it is having rainfall throughout the year. It is having the warm conditions. That is one area. Other area, the Western European regions, though it is located in the cold temperate region, yet it is having the maritime influence because of the warm air mass that is reaching there, right? These are the things where you need to explain with examples. Don't simply say that yes, whenever they are moving over the land mass, they can alter the weather conditions. You need to specifically show the areas where it is creating the impact. What type of impact can be there? You need to explain, right? This is what is given here. And the examples has to be from the northern hemisphere only. Don't write about the southern hemisphere, right? The best example, like, there are certain cold local winds, a very, very cold local winds. Either it can be in the Russian region of Siberia or even in the northern American region. The cold, very, very cold local winds where they can stop the breath of the people. They can kill the people. The best example, burans of Russia. The best examples, the blizzards. Harmattan are what is called as, harmattans are not the cold air masses, right? They are the warm air mass of Africa. Whereas this one, blizzards are the cold air mass which can kill the people by choking the lungs. These are the cold masses that are coming from the Arctic Circle to the continental regions, right? These are the things where if you can explain all these things, your job is done, right?
Does the vast syllabus of general studies for the UPSC prelims overwhelm you to initiate your preparation for the civil services examination? Is your apprehension and self-doubt coming in the way of your success in joining the civil services? Comprehend your preparation for UPSC Prelims 2025 with the fast-track course targeting general studies with innovative curriculum, revision and mentorship. Starting from 19th November at 1 p.m., the course offers coverage of UPSC GS Prelims subjects, dedicated mentorship support and guidance for performance maximization, access to PT 365 classes for current affairs preparation, sectional mini tests for regular assessment and performance, personalized student portal to access study material, access to live and online classes. Enroll today and make prelims your stepping stone to proceed to the UPSC mains.
Then they have given a statement. Soil erosion is creeping death. Explain the statement. Suggest various soil conservation measures. Similar type of question we have seen just now with respect to the social forestry. See the linkages. Linkages are there, social forestry. There also we talked about the soil erosion, right? Here also we need to specifically talk about the soil erosion. What do you mean by this statement? Soil erosion is a creeping death. Nothing but we will be knowing the concept called as, in the case of mass wasting, we'll be talking about soil creep. What is soil creep? Slow movement of the soil. Therefore, whenever the soil erosion is happening slowly, continuously, it will be leading to such type of condition where the agricultural productivity is not there. Whenever the agricultural productivity is not there in the soil, is of what use? If the soil is there and the agriculture is there, then only it is of some use to the people. And so it is called as the slow death conditions. What are the soil conservation measures? There are varieties of soil conservation techniques. What are the variety of soil conservation techniques? Like mechanical conservation, like agronomical conservation. You need to divide the conservation techniques into broad ways. Don't write directly what is called as terracing, sir, mulching, sir. Everyone will be writing those things. All the soil conservation techniques are known to everyone. But how your presentation should be, it has to be in a very specific manner so that your paper should be appealing and very neat in nature, so that the evaluator is impressed to give more marks. Some at least one extra mark should be there. What are the divisions you need to talk about? Mechanical conservation techniques. Mechanical conservation. The next one is called as agronomical conservation. What do you mean by this mechanical conservation? What do you mean by agronomical conservation? Mechanical conservation meaning what? Mechanically you are shaping the land. You are shaping the land in such a way like it is terracing, contour ploughing, contour bunding, terracing, contour ploughing, contour bunding. Whereas agronomical conservation, what do you mean by agronomical? Nothing but agricultural related conservation. Like how you can go for? You can go for mulching, stubbling, also afforestation in the agricultural areas, those areas where the people are unable to use the such type of land, that can be going for forestation. Then reforestation, reforestation. In fact, we can even divide this one, afforestation and reforestation, in the other way also. These are agriculture related, like mulching. What do you mean by mulching? After harvesting, the straw of the plant which is of no use, that needs to be kept on the plowed land, on the harvested land. Whenever the coverage is there for the soil, whenever the soil is covered with the agricultural straw or the waste material, then the wind cannot erode the material, right? That is what the one. Afforestation and the reforestation, it can give another techniques called as, which conservation it is called as the forestry conservation. You can divide like this one. These are the three important, like mechanical, another one is called as agronomical, another one is called as the forestry conservation. We can go for afforestation, you can go for reforestation, right? These are the types of conservation techniques. No need to, I need not to explain terracing and all these things. All these things are known to you, right? Now, this is about the soil conservation technique and what are the measures that needs to be taken. Then, see the point here is the environmental related concept: perception, attitude, value, and emotion. If at all we are seeing this one, we feel like, sir, it is something unique type of question, what I don't know. It is nothing. You need to be calm, composed in the exam hall. No, not to feel panic. The moment once you feel panic, the idea that is supposed to come will not be there. What is this one? They are the components. They are the components for the biodiversity and the sustainable environmental conservation. Again, till now we have talked about the soil conservation. Now we need to protect what? Life, the biodiversity that is there. Whenever you want to protect the biodiversity, what type of characters the people should have? What type of character the society should have? The society attitude towards the biodiversity, the society attitude towards the biodiversity should be positive. The society perception towards the biodiversity should be strong enough. What type of perception? Yes, it is going to benefit the people. I'll give you best example. The value. The society should feel like, yes, if at all you are protecting that biodiversity, it is highly valuable for us, for the society, right? Also, the people should be emotionally attached. The best example, see the best example. What are all these things? What are all these things? This is what called as right. This is what called as the North American continent, right? In the 19th century, see the 19th century. In the 19th century, the people who are living in this part of the land, this is called as the Everglades region. Very, very important area. In fact, right now in the 20th century, this Everglades was renamed, their name is Everglades, but it is given the category of the biological hotspot, nothing but biodiversity hotspot. It was enlisted in the biodiversity hotspot list when in the 20th century. But till 19th century, what happened? As this area, Everglades, what is there? Always the area is waterlogged in nature. The water is stagnated there. The people, whoever they are living in this area, felt like this is a wasteland. It's a noxious place. It's a place where the mosquitoes are getting breeded. We can't make use of this land. Because if you fill up this land, at least we can go for cultivation. Or if you fill up this land, we can go for staying in that area. Why this wasteland? Always waterlogging. This is what the attitude, perception, it is what the value given by the society to this place. It is what the emotion, the people got attached. What was the emotion? Negative emotion. What type of value? They're least bothered about this land. What type of perception? Negative perception. What type of attitude? Attitude is to fill up the land with the soil. This is what the people in the late 19th century and the beginning of the 20th century, the environmentalists came and made the people aware, educated the people, saying that what you are thinking about this region, this is such a ecologically beautiful area. It is having aesthetic value. What do you mean by aesthetic value? It is having great beautification. This is the area where it can attract the migratory birds. Migratory birds. Whenever the birds are migrating, the birds are having some temporary stay. Just like whenever you are moving from one place to another place, you need a hotel to stay. What is a hotel for the migratory birds? This is a migratory place. It is the place where it is attracting the very exotic migratory birds. Also, this is the place where it is acting as a habitat for other life forms like amphibians, like mammals. Not only the birds, amphibians are taking shelter here. Mammals are taking shelter. Reptiles are also taking shelter. It is the very great habitat. It is acting as a very great habitat. Because of the habitat, there is great biodiversity. Because of not only the fauna, you can find a greater biodiversity in the case of flora, that many floras are medicated in nature. What do you mean by flora? Nothing but plant life. Many of the flora is medicated in nature. You can get the medicines from this one. Also, this is the area where you can find the great carbon sequestration. Carbon sequestration. What do you mean by sequestration of the carbon? absorption of the carbon and storing the carbon into this area. This is the area where it is acting as the filtering of the water or recharging of the water to the ground table. Recharging of the water to the ground table. You are getting the water facility because of this Everglades. You are getting the fresh air because of this Everglades. You are getting the forest produce like honey and other material from this Everglades. You are getting the medicated facility from the Everglades. All the beautification is there. The tourism can be developed here. What are you people? You people are not having the importance in your mind. Let us treat this one with a positive mindset. Let us treat this one with the positive mindset. With this positive mindset, where the awareness was brought by the environmentalist, the Everglades became, till that point of time, Everglades was called as marshy land, swampy land, noxious land, breeding ground for the mosquitoes. Now the people started calling that Everglades as, with a positive word called as, wetland. See, the wetland is a positive word, whereas the swampy land, marshy land is a negative term. This never changed. It is there as it is. Earlier also, the Everglades was same as it is. Now also it is same as it is. What changed? Pave got changed. With respect to what? With respect to conservation. Is it clear? It is all in the mindset of the people. We also have to learn from this concept. UPSC is not changing. UPSC is same. Geography is same. Ecology is same. Polity is same. History is same. We need to PAVE. If it is changing in our mind, it becomes easy for us. Is that clear? This is a wonderful question. Very intelligent question. It's not a difficult question, which is something, no? What is the mindset of the people? I'm telling you, see, the students, whenever they came across the new thing, they get immediately panic. Oh my God, what is this wave? I don't understand. I don't remember. I didn't read. This is what UPSC wants to make you in the exam hall. It wants to scare you so that you should fail. Whoever withstands. These are the leaders. Right? Could understand? We have to use. Can you use such type of anecdotes? Yes, you can use. Right? Whenever you are giving you are free to, see, that is what the beauty of the mains part. If it is a preliminary part, you cannot do. Whereas the beauty of the mains part, it is the place, it is the time where you need to show your creativity. The more you show your creativity, the more the capabilities are being understood by the people. In your absence, your capabilities needs to be presented. How you can present? In the form of diagrams, in the form of words, in the form of letters. Right? This is what you need to show. Is it clear? Then, sorry? Yes, that is what, again, mental map. Sir, can we use the mental mapping? That is what I'm talking about, your creativity. How you present. See, I have presented this in the form of an example, live example. You can present this one in the form of a mental map. Show that at the center, Everglades of Florida of USA, and write down attitude of the people got changed. Then the perception of the people changed. Then the value got changed. Then emotions towards that one. How? Positive emotions are there. You can write all these things. Whether you are representing the answer in the form of the mental map or in the form of words and letters or in the form of diagram, but the answer should be towards the question. Right? It is your ability how you represent. The same answer, if someone is explaining, he may be explaining a different way. But my way of explanation is different way. Because each and every mind is different. And so you also. Each and every paper is different. How you represent matters a lot. It shows your ability, creativity, your attitude, your perception. Is it clear? This is the question. Now, the fourth question. See the fourth question. How is carbon neutrality essential for future environmental conservation? Why carbon neutrality? Because the entire world is talking about the carbon neutrality. In the World Climate Summit, COPs, what is the biggest talk that is going on? Let us become carbon neutral. What do you mean by carbon neutral? Nothing but not zero carbon. It is carbon neutral means what? Whenever you are emitting the carbon, wherever you are emitting the carbon, whenever you are emitting, wherever you are emitting, the absorption of this carbon emitted should be there in that area only. It's called as in situ carbon absorption technique. What do you mean by in situ? On the site itself, wherever the carbon is emitted, that has to be absorbed there itself. The amount of releasing and the amount of absorption should be one and the same, so that there is no releasing of carbon from that particular area. Such type of industries, such type of areas, such type of cities, such type of states are considered as the carbon neutral states, carbon neutral areas, carbon neutral cities, carbon neutral industries. Carbon neutral national highways. Meaning what? What do you mean by carbon neutral national highways? Whenever on the highway vehicles are going in, coming out into different directions, vehicles will be emitting the carbon because they are using the fossil fuels. Whenever the carbon is emitted, the national highway should be designed in such a way that in the middle, greater number of carbon sequestration trees should be there. Whatever the vehicle is emitting, there itself, in situ, there itself, the absorption should be there. Whenever it is absorbed there itself, that is called as a green national highway. Could you understand this one? See, these things are not there anywhere in the textbook and all these things. It is your idea. Green national highway. Then green industries. What do you mean by green industry? Though that industry may be utilizing the fossil fuel, but you are having the ability to observe the carbon there itself in that area. Is the carbon neutral industry? Is it clear? The carbon neutral industry, one is industry, another one is the roads. At the industry level, at the road level, or maybe at the village level, at the city level, at the national level. Whatever the emitting of the carbon by India, the same thing needs to be observed by the sequestration capacity should be there. The greater sequestration capacity should be there, built up by the country. Right now, it is a task of every country to develop the sequestration. Right? This is a carbon neutral concept. There are describe various efforts taken by the nations in this regard. What is the best effort taken by the nations in this regard? Not just India. We'll be talking about India, but let us talk about the very great carbon sequestration efforts taken by the nations. One is called as the utilizing of the abandoned mining areas, carbon capture and storage. Do you know UK? What is UK is doing? UK means what? United Kingdoms. What is UK doing? It is storing its carbon under the North Sea, or the bed of the North Sea. What is North Sea? Is a water body. Under the bed of the North Sea it is storing. Where is America storing the carbon? Under the Gulf of Mexico. These people are capturing the carbon, storing the carbon. But in the case of India, what we are doing? We are not going to carbon capture. We are giving the targets to the countries, targets to the industries in the form of the emission caps. There are certain certificates called as, have you ever come across these assets? What are these assets? Environmental certificates. When a company, say for example, one industry is releasing 100 tons of carbon every year. Now, the government will be capping. See, this in your industry, you should not emit 100 tons. You are allowed to release only 50 tons this year. Then they will be going for the carbon reduction, or maybe the fuel composition techniques. The fuel will be changed, or maybe carbon that is present, they are reducing the carbon. Right? Whenever they are reducing this one, if they reduce the carbon emissions beyond 50, those tons of carbon. Say for example, they have reduced the target is to reduce 50 tons. If they reduce 60 tons and only they have released 40 tons, that extra 10 tons the government will be paying money. How the government is paying money? Some other companies where they are unable to control their, suppose there is another company. If there is A company, this B company, the target for this company is to release only 50 tons. The target for this company to release only 30 tons. But these fellows, they cannot succeed in maintaining that one. They have released 50 tons. They have released some 20 tons extra. Therefore, they are penalized. Suppose these fellows have reduced the carbon, releasing of carbon only to 40 tons. They need to be encouraged, and so money will be given in the form of the certificates, and certificates whenever they are being sold, they get the money. Such type of carbon trading techniques are there right now. Right now, the government of India is talking about the such type of carbon trading. Also, some of the countries, do you know what are some of the countries, especially the European countries, are taxing the imports, saying that you have made this particular product with a carbon emitting fuel, and so carbon tax is been laid there in order to discourage those products which are being produced from the carbon, right? These are the things that are there. When you know all these things, then you can write a beautiful answer for this one, right? Meaning what? All they are present in the current developments. Whenever the question is talking about the conservation techniques along with the examples, you need to talk about the current examples. Don't give the age-old examples. So way back in 1960 something happened. So no, you need to talk about the current live things. Then, what is a Yazoo stream? Why are Yazoo basins the areas of repeated flooding? Give examples of Yazoo stream from various parts of the world. What is this Yazoo stream? Again, the geomorphology question. Whenever the rivers are flowing over the land, say for example, if this is the one consequent river, do you remember the consequent rivers? And there are some rivers which are called as subsequent rivers. Nothing but tributaries. These are called as subsequent. This is called as consequent. The consequent river, subsequent river. When the rivers like subsequent rivers travels parallel to the consequent for some kilometers together, not just 1 kilometer, not just 2 kilometers, for some hundreds of kilometers or maybe sometimes tens of kilometers. From tens of kilometers to some hundreds of kilometers, whenever the river is traveling parallel to the main consequent, such stream that is moving parallel, this is called as Yazoo. This is called as Yazoo river. Why? Because literally there is a river called as Yazoo river, where in the country of USA, which is flowing parallel to the mighty river called as Mississippi river. For the Mississippi river, there is a river continuously traveling by the side, parallelly for some hundreds of kilometers. And wherever such type of scenarios are being seen, such type of rivers are called as Yazoo rivers. Right? Now, why the question remains, why this particular river cannot drain into the consequent just here? Why it is unable to drain? Is there any big obstacle is there or what? Yes, there is obstacle. What is that obstacle? It is the sediment deposited by the consequent river. What is the sediment? Nothing but, suppose whenever you are seeing the river channel, any river channel, suppose if this is the river water, you talk about any river water, suppose the river water is moving like this one, right? When the river water is moving like this one, every river will be having their own boundaries where they are depositing the material called as the sediments, like this one. They deposit the sediments naturally. When they are depositing the sediments naturally, giving a condition for the river water by the river itself. I should not go beyond these limits. These are the limits. They are called as basically called as levees. As they are formed naturally, therefore they are called as the natural levees. What are natural levees? They are the boundaries created by the river itself. It should not go beyond this boundary. These are the natural levees. Whenever the water spills out of the natural levees, the state is called as flooding state. Right? Because of the natural levee, whenever the consequent river is moving like this one, suppose this is a consequent river. Along the consequent river, what is there? Natural levee is there. A very, very strong natural levee is there. Here also you can find the natural levee is there. This natural levee is the one which is obstructing the subsequent river to join. The natural levee is the one which is not allowing the subsequent to join. Wherever the natural levee is not strong, the river goes there. The river goes there, moves parallelly, and then it will be meeting into the water like this one. Moving parallelly. What is obstructing there? It is the natural levees. Right? This is the best example, Yazoo river. One is Yazoo river you can give. What are the other rivers you can give as an example? Ganga, Yamuna. Can Ganga, Yamuna can be called as the Yazoo rivers? Are there any other examples in the world countries? In the case of India, you can talk about one river. Don't say Ganga and Yamuna. For the Yamuna, there is a mighty tributary for Yamuna. You know only Chambal, you know only Betwa, you know only Ken, you know only what is called as Sindh. But Parvati, Banas are the one where they are the tributaries for the Banas is a tributary for Chambal. Chambal in turn is draining into what is called as Narmada, right? This is Narmada. This is the river called as Ganga. Ganga is flowing like this one, it is moving like this one. This is called as Prayag, the so-called Prayagraj. For this Yamuna, there is a tributary which is running parallelly. Where do you find the rivers like Chambal, Banas, Parvati, then Kali, Sindh, then Betwa, then Ken? All these are the right bank tributaries. But there is a river which is from the left bank tributaries to the Yamuna river called as the river Tons. The Tons is the best example for the Yazoo in India. Right? This is the Tons. The Tons takes birth somewhere in the Shivaliks. See this one. The river is taking birth somewhere in the Shivaliks and is moving parallel towards parallelly to the Yamuna, and it is reaching Yamuna somewhere at the lower reaches. Got the point? That is what the best example. Right? This is about the Yazoo and all these things. Then see the next question. Where the wordings have been changed? Yazoo. Yazoo is a very, very popular name that is there in the optional. You know, whenever you are reading the landforms in the optional part, whereas in the GS part, you never come across this Yazoo. In the optional, we will be specifically talking about the Yazoo river, especially in the drainage system. There are the drainage systems are basically, there are two types. One is called as concordant and one is called as discordant. Discordant are the one which are called as the superimposed on the antecedent. In the concordant, you will come across the Yazoo river. Specifically, there is a topic with respect to the Yazoo river. Right? Since the students, when they are not aware, they feel like, sir, it is a new terminology used by UPSC. It's not new terminology. Neither the truncated spur is the new terminology, nor the Yazoo river is the new terminology. I accept. What is the new terminology? Axis of dilation is the new terminology. That is the only terminology in the entire question paper. That is sometimes, the people are calling, what is the general name? The people are using the word called as bouncer. Right? But in fact, that is not bouncer. When you know the temperate part, you can make out something from that question. No, 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 no. 1 second. What is the other bouncer you are talking about? Just like temperate cyclones on the axis of dilation, where you are calling this as bouncer, right? As you know, don't know the axis of dilation. Even I accepted that it is not known, right? Now, that is one point. In the earlier question paper, as you are referring like pseudo volcano, all the people know volcano. What is the literal meaning of pseudo in English? Then you can make out. See, there are some things like where you can make out the answer. It's not like we don't know exactly there in the during the exam hall. In the exam hall, whenever you are reading exact term, we may not know, but we can make out something. Just like what we can make out here in the case of axis of dilation and the temperate cyclones. Because the word temperate cyclones are volcano, we cannot dare to leave that question. Because we know everything about volcano, we know everything about the temperate cyclone, but the very term axis of dilation, whenever you are thinking something, something or other thing that comes out. Because it is a compulsory question where we have to write something. That is what the risk-taking appetite. Even the same is the case with the pseudo volcano. Pseudo, nothing but false. Volcano, it is similar to that of the volcano, but it is false. Maybe the mud flow, maybe something, the mud volcano, you can imagine like this one, right? One more. Mm. Okay. Very good. See here, what is the question? There are some multiple terms are there in the geography optional. The question paper definitely will be talking about at least one term or the other term every year. How to approach? See, my point is simply, why are you concentrating more on those terminology? Why don't you spend the same time in how many questions are there total? 5, 5, 10. And how many remaining question? 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8. 8 3 is 24. 24 plus 10, 34 questions are there, right? One question, one word, you are getting attracted to that one word and you want to dig deep in that one word. If I think very logically, let us take a cost benefit analysis. I am going to sacrifice that question and I will write out of 34, I will be writing 33 questions. Got the point? See, always out of how many marks should be expected by the so-called toppers where you are talking about. How many marks the toppers are asking to get in optional? Out of 500, if we can get 300 plus, decent. Meaning what? Out of 500, you can get 300. You are having a bandwidth of 200 marks. Right? See, don't give more stress, don't give more emphasis on such things which are not known. No matter whatever the time you spend on such type of terms, one term or the other term will be there because we are not doing research here. Had we have done the research in the optional, like what we did in once upon a time in our studies, like at the point of time, the optional was there at the micro level. Now, lucky are you people, optional is not there at the micro level. What do you mean by micro level? Optional prelims paper was there. Just imagine, optional prelim papers, and even in that one, regional geography was there. What do you mean by regional geography? We need to know each and every continent to the core. Like if at all you are talking about the Southeast Asia, what are the rivers in Cambodia? What is the lake in the Vietnam? Regional level. The question was asked number of times regarding the lake that is present on the Mekong River. The name of the lake is called as Tonle Sap Lake, where it is managing the river water of the Mekong. Are you going to such great depth? No. Right? And so, always calm, compose, cool, whatever that particular, whatever you call that as bouncer, give least preference. Forget about that one. Get the maximum marks in the known concept. Why you are not paying such great attention on the known concept? If the known concept was explained in a further beautiful way, with more examples, with more vigor, then you will be getting extra mark in each and every known question. Whenever you are getting extra marks in the known questions, what else is required? How many are there? 33 are there. For that one question, why are you killing time? We need to accept something. We need to accept something in the life. Like, no matter whatever you read, there will be some point where something comes where we are not in a position to give that answer for that one. Right? If you can go in this logical way, you will be getting more marks. Why only 300? More than, just like, last year there was 328 marks were there. How? Because it's not like writing about those specific terms, right? That's what you need to have is confidence in the mind. Whenever you are having the confidence that I can do anything, definitely you are the successful person, right? Now, see this one. Again, the question is almost similar to that of the mountain slopes and the fragile nature, right? Now, see here, the latitudinal gradient in the species richness is an important geographical trend in biodiversity. Explain the statement. If at all you are very good in the ecology, right? Latitudinal gradient is nothing but difference as and when you are moving towards the latitudes, upper latitudes from 0 degree to 90 degrees, where whenever you are keep on moving, what will be changing? Every aspect change, every weather condition change, temperature changes, pressure changes, precipitation changes, the humidity changes, cloud cover changes, everything changes. When everything changes, obviously species composition changes. That is what the question. The latitudinal gradient in the species richness. What do you mean by species richness? Nothing but having more number of species. What do you mean by richness? Suppose in one national park there are 5 varieties of animals. The richness is 5. In another national park, the variety of species are 10. Meaning what? Lions, elephants, chimpanzees, gorillas, and likewise there are 10 varieties of species. Therefore, the richness is 10, right? What do you mean by richness? Biodiversity variations. The variations of the life species, right? Is called as the species richness. When the gradient changes, what happens to the species richness? They start reducing. Why they start reducing? Where do you forget about this one? Generally understand like this one. Where do you find more human population? Where do you find more population? In the lower latitudes or in the upper latitudes? Lower latitudes. Where do you find more insects? Lower latitude. In fact, they don't know what is an insect. They don't know what is mosquito there. Got the point? For those fellows who are staying in the Norway, Sweden, Finland, London, France, Denmark, these people, they don't know what is mosquito. Lucky are we people. Every day we are killing so many mosquitoes. Right? Therefore, they doesn't know. Meaning what? Where do you find very great life variations? In those areas wherever the weather conditions are very strong weather conditions, high temperature, high rainfall, high wind condition, right? These are the areas. Whenever these conditions are prevalent, you can find more ecological productivity. Wherever the ecological productivity is there. What do you mean by ecological productivity? Basically, it is the autotrophs where they are the one which are trapping the photo energy, converts the photo energy into chemical energy. When more chemical energy is there, meaning what? More food is available. When more food is available, more people are there. For that matter, I will give one small comparison. Where do you find more food? North India or South India? Just for the understanding. North India. Why? Because more you work on the field, more the food you can get. Even though more you work on the agricultural field, there is no guarantee in the peninsular India. Because what is peninsular India? Hard rocky material, no soil, no greater soil formation. Even though you are working for hours together, more number of people are working on the agricultural soil, the agricultural productivities are not there. But whereas here in the northern plains, more people working for more time period, more productivity is there. And so, wherever more productivity, more food is there, more. See UP? What is UP? Do you know? Acha, you need to break the one. Okay, go for a break.
A stronghold over current affairs is your way to succeed in the UPSC Civil Services examination. Brace yourself and get detailed coverage of relevant news both nationally and internationally. With the monthly current affairs revision program starting from 26th October at 5 p.m. Enroll today and elevate your current affairs knowledge with comprehensive coverage of current affairs compiled through relevant sources such as the Hindu Indian Express, Economic Times, PIB Yojana, and others. Expert support and personalized mentoring. Comprehensive assessment through MCQs and mains-oriented questions.
Now see this one. Because of greater ecological productivity, great population. See the relation. More the ecological productivity, more the population. Population means what? Species. Meaning what? Varieties of species. Richness. Wherever food is there, more number of species are there. What is food? Nothing but, this is a common language. When we want to understand the concept, you can understand the concept like this one. Food is available, more number of species are there. In the jargon, ecological jargon, wherever the ecological productivity is there, more the ecological productivity, more the species richness. Whenever you are seeing the latitudinal gradient, where do you find more ecological productivity? In the lower latitudes. As and when you are moving to the upper latitudes, the ecological productivity will be keep on reducing. Whenever it is keep on reducing, automatically the species richness will be decreasing. That is what the entire logic of the question. See, always you need to have the essence of the questions. If the essence of the questions is there in the mind, you can write whatever the concept that comes in your mind, you can write in a very, very beautiful manner. Right? That is what the concept. The latitudinal changes is responsible for the species richness. That is what the meaning of the statement. I can give you a number of examples. Why you can find the rich rainforest only in the lower latitudes like Amazon, Congo, then Malaysian rainforest, Borneo rainforest. Where they are there? Lower latitudes. Can you find the Amazon forest like forest in the Norway, in the Siberia, in the Sweden, in the Canada? Whenever you are seeing this one, the tree itself will not be having any leaves at all during the winter season. During the winter, no tree will be having the leaf there. All the trees appears bare. Is it the case with Amazon? Is it the case with the Borneo? Is it the case with the Congo? No. More species richness. It's all because of the factors like temperature, precipitation, pressure conditions, the cloud cover. Always temperature, nothing but the sun, insolation and all these things, right? Always the primary factor is the temperature. See this one. The insulation, the energy. When we say sun, it's nothing but energy. From where we are getting energy from? Whatever the energy you are seeing right now, the screen is bright. I am shouting, you are listening, you are walking, you are also arguing. From where you are getting energy from? All the energy is the manifestation of the energy of the sun. Our sun's energy is there in our body. Just imagine how great we are. The sun's energy, the energy that was there in the sun, is there in our body. How great we are. What the point? That is what the meaning of this one, right? Where do you find more such energy? In the lower latitudes. Then the fifth one, this is again the compulsory question. 5A, B, C, D, E, right? See the question. It is with respect to the human geography. Critically examine the significance of behavioral approach in the development of the human geography. What is this behavioral approach? Understand this one. In fact, in the development of geography, the very great revolution that was there was called as quantitative revolution. It was in the year 1960s. What happened? We want to make geography as more science rather than social. Meaning what? What is the difference in the science and the social? Science is the one which is universally accepted. Social is not universally accepted. It is true for specific areas individually. It is a subjective matter. It is not objective like science. It's subjective. Social is subjective in nature. And so where the geographers wants to make science more objective, geography as more objective, in order to make it more objective, they started developing what is called as models, theories, like the one model called as Van Thunen model, Van Thunen agricultural model, then the Alfred Weber's industrial location model, then Chrysler's central place theory. Theories, models were developed. How the models and theories were developed? By assuming certain assumptions. These assumptions are making the man in such a condition where the man is made as a material. The views of the man, the taste of the man, the idea of the man, the nature of the man was being suppressed. The man is not given due importance. Man is made as just an element. Like, what was the assumption? One assumption was the entire land is uniformly fertile. Can there be a condition in any area, in any city, any country, entire land can be uniformly fertile? If it is the case, the Rajasthan region and the Gangetic plains should be having the same ecological productivity. But it is not the one. The land is uniformly fertile. Sir, that is okay, sir. For the case of model building, we have imagined that one where the man is not involved. But other assumptions, man is considered as rational man. Man is considered as an economic man. Meaning what? This fellow knows very well that what type of product are having the demand. After he produced the product, that product will be having the greater demand. If that is the case, always man will be producing only those products which are having the greater demand. But why our farmers, have you ever seen this one? Especially the farmers who are the vegetable growers, they used to throw the vegetables on the road and they will be going back empty handed. Especially tomatoes, especially the chilies, they will be throwing on the road. Why? Because whatever the cost of production is there, whenever they are selling, the amount that is getting because of selling is not equivalent to the even transportation cost. The value of the product is very less. And if the man is really economic man, really he is rational man, why such type of incidents should happen? But what was the assumption made by the geographers? Man is highly rational. Can the man be rational or what? No. Can the man be economical man? Can always he'll be working only for the sake of money? No. There are many cases, many incidents are there. Money is just a factor, whereas other things are there more. Satisfaction is the one which is important. Right? Likewise, when all the assumptions were made, keeping the man at a lower pace, then the behavioralists, they started revolution against the quantity revolution. The behavioral approach developed as a revolution against the quantity revolution, saying that what you are talking about, don't make man as just a material. Man cannot be a rational man. The same person can behave in a different conditions for different situations. How the behavior of the man can be rationalized? The same you may interact in a different way. Right? In one situation you are cool, in another situation you may be aggressive. The behavior of the man cannot be quantified. It cannot be rationalized. And so the behavioralist developed the new concept called as what is more important is giving more emphasis to the behavior of the man. This is called as the behavioral approach. This is how the behavioralism developed. What they have explained, in the understanding the human environmental interactions, the spatial distributions, the man's behavior is more important. Just now I have talked about Everglades. What happened to the behavior of the people? Earlier, what was the behavior? If the behavior changes, automatically that is accepted as a very great asset. Until that one, that is not asset. Right? This is what called as the behavioral approach. Right? Then, these are all for the 10 marks. The next one. While scarcity of water resources is felt locally, but its causes are increasing globally. comment. You need to comment means what? You need to talk about your own views, right? You can criticize, you can accept, or you may even deny this one, right? Now see this one. What is the question? The scarcity of the water, meaning what? The water availability for the people is very less, not just in the local areas, all over the world. Why the water facility has reduced? Whenever you are talking about the water, right from the formation of the earth, whatever the water facility that is there on the planet earth is one and the same. Got the point? See the statement. Right from the birth of the earth, whatever the water that is present on the surface of the earth is one and the same. But because of some conditions, sometimes it is more in the form of gas, sometimes it is more in the form of solid, sometimes it is more in the form of liquid. But the amount of water availability is one and the same, right? That is what the first point. Now, this liquid availability of the water, now we are not talking about the solid availability, the gaseous availability. The liquid availability of the water is becoming scarce, very low. Not only one part of the world, every part of the world. Because of over-utilization of the water, unnecessary utilization of the water. The best example, there is a sea called as Aral Sea. In between Uzbekistan and the Kazakhstan, there is a sea called as Aral Sea. What happened to this Aral Sea? Such a mighty sea got shrink to small lake right now. Such a mighty sea got shrink to small lake right now. Why? Because there are two rivers that are draining into the Aral Sea. One is called as Amudarya River, another one is called as Sardarya River. This Amudarya River, Sardarya River are not allowed to drain into Aral Sea right now. On one side, Kazakhstan diverted the waters of the river. Other side, the Uzbekistan country diverted the waters of the river. When there is no input of the water in the Aral Sea, what happens to the Aral Sea? Only outgoing, no incoming. What happens to the water facility? That is with respect to the surface water. With respect to the groundwater, whenever you are talking about the groundwater resources are very good in entire world countries, also in India. But what we did in India, more than 90% of the groundwaters are utilized for one just activity called as agriculture. Whenever the 90% of the groundwaters are keep on extracted, the rate of extraction and the rate of recharge got misbalanced. What do you mean by rate of extraction and recharge? Whenever you are switching on the bore, water will be pumped from the deep inner layers, but the rate of recharge, how the recharge will be happening? Rainwater has to fall in a drop by drop fashion. That drop has to percolate and then need to recharge the aquifers. Within what time you are extracting, within what time it is recharging, there is an imbalance, and so the entire groundwater reserves got done away with. In our Great Northern Plains, forget about the peninsular India, Great Northern Plains is not having the groundwater reserves. And so the groundwater reserves, not only in the world countries, even in India, got already depleted. Both the surface water got depleted, the groundwater got depleted because of the faulty practices by the man. This is how the water is becoming scarcity. See the case of Chennai, the water was not there. Recently the case of Bangalore, the water is not there. Forget about the Chennai, Bangalore, which are the South Indian states. But the city like Shimla has witnessed zero water day. How comes the city of Shimla, which happens to be the Himalayan region, has experienced zero water day? Got the point? When such a state, such as places which are having very rich water facility, if they are not having water, meaning what? The scarcity of the water is there. Right? It is the factor not only locally it is there, globally it is the case. Right? That is what you need to explain. Right? Then the next one, 5C, central business district are in decline as economic core of the metropolitan cities critically examined. 10 marks, critically examine. What do we make critically examine? Whenever the question is demanding as a critically examine, in the case of comment, you can give your views. And within short framework, you can give your views. But whenever it is critically examined, you need to talk both about the positive points, also the negative points. Make sure that whenever you are writing the answer, if it is having the critically examined word, you need to talk about both the positive as well as the negative words. If it is examined, you can talk about only positive words, or you can talk only about the negative words. But if it is critically examined, you need to talk about both the positive as well as the negatives, right? Now, central business districts. What are these central business districts? These are the core parts of the core parts of the settlements. Whenever any settlement is there at the center, the entire concentration of the power will be there. Just like, in the case of Delhi, which was before the Britishers itself, there was a core city, the so-called Chandni Chowk region, considered to be the best business area. When the Britishers came, they want to have their own shopping, their own business, their own type of lifestyle, the European type of lifestyle. They constructed a big place called as Connaught Place. Then the shift of Chandni Chowk Central Business District to Connaught Place Central Business District happened. Now, in the modern time, they are the only shopping places or what? They are the only central business or what? No. You can find so many things like, the cropping up of new malls, maybe in the Saket, maybe in the house cars, maybe in the so-called South Delhi, right? In the entire region, there are so many nucleuses developed. So many nucleuses are there. Because of the mushrooming of the so many nucleuses, what happened to the value for the Chandni Chowk, the value for the CP, the Connaught Place, right? They got decline, right? This is what the one. Central business district are in decline as the economic core of metropolitan cities. For every metropolitan cities, you talk about any metropolitan city, maybe Bangalore. What was the central business district? Once upon a time, there was an area called as a market area called as Kalash Palyam. Whereas in the case of Hyderabad, whenever you are talking about the central business district called as Koti area, the name of the area is called as Koti region. Like whenever you are talking about the Lucknow region, the market, the name of that market is called as Hazratganj. And also whenever you are talking about the Guwahati, the name of the core market was called as Paltan Bazar, Pan Bazar. These are the core areas. Once upon a time, right from the birth of that particular region, these are the very core centers. But right now, they lost their importance. New markets, new central business district developed because of mushrooming of so many other areas. This has lost their importance. But there are some cities even today, like Dhaka. In the case of Dhaka, Bangladesh, the core business district is still now having the significance. Also, in the case of some of the areas like the small areas like Philippines, Manila is Manila is the core business district. In the case of Philippines, no other area started developing as such as that of the Manila central business district. Likewise, there are certain areas even today where the CBD is having the significance, but majority of the areas the CBD has lost its importance. Therefore, you have written positive points as well as the negative points, right? Then there is a need for gender sensitive regional development. Again, you should be having the empathetic approach. Don't see, just like I was talking about the social forestry. For the common person, social forestry is simply going for forestry in that area wherever the forest is not there, where the community is participated. No. You need to feel like, that has to bring certain positive benefits in the lives of the people. On the same lines here, there is a need for gender sensitive regional development. In the regional development, gender sensitivity should be there. Male and the female should be given more importance. Where the safety in the workplace, the security for the people, women should be given more emphasis in the workplace. And so whenever you are giving such a importance for both the genders, equally important, then you can find a very great regional development that happens. What is happening right now, according to this question, what is the question is telling? See the question. There is a need. Meaning what? As of now, there is no gender equality. That is what UPSC itself is telling. There is no gender equality right now in the regional development. But come on, you bring the gender equity. gender sensitive things, like giving more emphasis to the women's problem, especially the age old women, like geriatric problems, paying more attention for these elderly women. At the same time, the working women, giving more emphasis, like special caps for the women, special what call as some specific places for exclusively for the women only, the health conditions for the women. Whenever the development happens, we are keeping these gender issues in the mind, definitely there can be a greater regional development, right? And so your approach should be having a very great empathetic approach, like you can give some of the important policies, programs introduced by the government of India. What is the very great program that is going on in India? Beti bachao, beti padhao. What do you mean by bachao? Meaning what? They are not being protected. Why they are not being protected? They are being killed in the fetus itself. In the mother fetus itself, they are being killed. Beti bachao. When the government itself is there telling that beti bachao, meaning what? That is not happening. Need to see the other side of the coin. Beti bachao. Then again, the very important program called as the supplying of the drinking water through the piped drinking water, Jal Jeevan Mission. Jal Jeevan Mission, and how it is related to gender equality, gender sensitive. The drinking water facility or the supply of the water is always related to the women. The household activities are women. Many a times the women is a culprit. Male feels like it's not my duty. That fellow goes out, right? But who has to take care of the family? Who will be there 24/7 in the house? It is women. And so they need water, right? Jal Jeevan Mission, that is the biggest program. Then the Beti Bachao and the education, like girl child education, and also the supplying of the clean fuel called as Ujjwala Yojana, instead of going for chula, right? The smoked chulas, then supply the so-called Ujjwala Yojana, right? All these are the important concepts where it has to be kept in the regional development with respect to the specific gender, right? Then you might be criticizing, sir, what is that such one program which is there for the men? Is there such one program which is for the men? At least one program specifically for men. Sir, gender sensitive, sir, we are also gender, we has to be sensitive. Sexual harassment by women or what? Sexual harassment in the workplaces, that is also for the women. Recently what happened? This particular domestic violence case, right? There were some modifications made in the domestic violence case because the people have witnessed so many falsy domestic violence cases. Whenever a husband is not satisfying the needs of the women, taking them to shopping or something, they are filing a complaint in the police station, like, this fellow is doing something. And so many such cases. Don't write this one, I'm telling just this sensitive, since the point was raised, like, are there any programs for the male also, right? What happened recently, some of the cases were there against false allegations against the men by the women. There are many proven cases also. The women has falsely alleged that this fellow is doing something, right? This is what such one example. Don't always bias towards women. Gender sensitive will be there for even men also. Come on, you want to speak something? Can we, sir, why you are talking only about the male and the female, sir? But why you are not talking about the transgender? Yes, you can include, right? Yes, you can include that one also. Like, when the government itself is already accepted, like, whenever there is a column like sex, men, women, M, F, also others, when the government itself has given, yes, talk about the transgender, exclusive programs for these people also, right? You need to give some of the programs. Whenever the specific schemes, programs are there, then your answer is perfectly right. Explain the theoretical framework and the stage of economic growth proposed by the Rostov model. The Rosters model is a highly accepted model even today. There are 5 stages. For any society, in order to get excel in the economic development, the society has to pass through the 5 stages. One is called as the traditional phase. What do you mean by traditional phase? At that point of time, the economy was always driven by the shifting cultivation, meager agricultural activities, and allied activities. The entire economy was driven by that type of activity. And so, birth rates are very high, death rates are also very high. The people, they don't know, the parents doesn't know that how many children can survive. And so, the great population was also there, meaning what? More birth rate, more death rates. At the economic development, at the end of the economic, that is a social point. With respect to the economic development, what type of economic development? Closed societies. The people never try to venture to far distances, only limited areas, only villages. The people will be always there in the village only. Their activities are confined to one particular area. That is what the traditional society. The next one is called as precondition to the takeoff. When the agricultural productivity started increasing, when the agricultural production started growing like whatever is required, say for example, a village requires 10 bags of paddy, but that village has produced 20 bags of paddy. Then what happens? That extra 10 bags of paddy needs to be conserved, they needs to be preserved, they should not be wasted. Therefore, industry start develop. What type of industry starts developing? It is the agro-based industry starts developing. That is called as the precondition for the takeoff. From there, you can find the takeoff stage more and more. The betterments are there. Now the food is guaranteed for the people. When the food is guaranteed, the people will be going for some of the small medications, like the death rates are controlled, even some of the birth rates are controlled. There's a takeoff stage. When the takeoff stage is there, then there is a drive for maturity. More and more people from the middle class and the lower income group people, they start entering into the mainstream economic development. They drive the society, and there will be a very great maturity stage. Finally, it will be leading to the all sorts of the mass consumption. The people will be having more purchasing power capacity. They throw money and they can go for high lifestyles, high-end lifestyles, right? This is the one. You need to draw the diagram, like, you might have seen the diagram, like, what is the diagram? The diagram appears something like this one. If it is the table, it is from the drive to maturity, then it is from, do you remember the picture that is given in the textbook? This is what the graph, the Rostow's agriculture model, traditional society, precondition to take off, drive to maturity, the stage of mass consumption, right? This is about the diagram. Then, after this one, the urbanization process is particularly pronounced in the Asia and South Africa, where too many urban residents grapple with extreme poverty, exclusion, vulnerability, marginalization, discuss. This is the burning issue that is present in the developing countries. It is in the developing countries. Now see here, developing countries in the Asia as well as Africa. What is happening? Because of the pull factors in the urban centers. As the urban centers are having all sorts of amenities, greater employment opportunities, more income levels, nothing but the more wages, some sort of economic activity can be found by these people in the urban centers, and so the people migrate from the rural areas. When they migrate from the rural areas, these people with lot of hopes, they come. When more and more people are coming, what happens to the urban centers? Urban centers are being over flooded with the migrants. Due to this one, the living standards of the people are suboptimum level. This is what is happening. Where it is happening on a rampant scale, not in the centers like Japan, not in the centers like Korea, but in the areas like the Asiatic countries like Southeast Asia, especially the country like Vietnam, the country like Laos, the country like Cambodia, the country like Pakistan, the country like Bangladesh. A very great revolutions are happening there. Even the country like India. It's not an exemption in India. Yes, even in India it is happening. That is what happening in Sri Lanka. See all the Asiatic countries. Whenever you are talking about the African countries, especially the country like Nigeria, Nigeria is more prone to. The best example is the Nigerian region. Then the other area is the South Sudan region. where the migrants are coming more towards the urban centers, the Khartoum, other regions, also the area like Ghana. These are the areas where you can find a very great rapid urbanization, but at the same time, the mismatch is there between the supply of the manpower and the workforce. The work that is there is performed in a disguised unemployment way. What do you mean by disguised unemployment? That is not necessary. One work can be performed by 10 people, but the 100 people are working in that area. Right? Such type of conditions are prevalent. Therefore, the people are in the extreme poverty, development of more slums. Whenever you are talking about this extreme poverty, poverty is there in both urban centers as well as in the rural centers. Which poverty is deadly dangerous? It is the urban poverty which is very dangerous. Why? Because it leads to criminalization. It is leading to insecurity for the women. It is leading to insecurity for the people itself, not just for the women. It is for the people itself. Insecurity, more criminalization of the activities happens. And so urban poverty is more dangerous than that of the rural poverty. Right? This is what is the question with respect to 6A. 6B. Explain how the physical features views of geographical space has impacted the form of the spatial analysis. What do you mean by the physical view? See the keyword, physical view of geographical space. Impacting the spatial analysis. What do you mean by spatial analysis? Analyzing how the space is utilized, right? Now, what do you mean by the physical geographical view? Nothing but a place, how it is there, whether it is a plain area, whether it is having the slope towards one particular side, or it is having the mineral wealth, or it is fertile for agriculture, or it is useful for some other activity like maybe some exclusive activity like the tourism development, or maybe it is having a spring called as hot spring area, right? This is the physical geographical space, how it is impacting the spatial analysis, how the particular space can be utilized, right? This is what the question. What you need to talk about, first of all, you need to explain what you mean by the geographical view of, the physical view of geographical place. Nothing but that is called as place. What it is called as place. This is called as place. The physical view of geographical is a place. What is the spatial analysis? Is called as space. Place and the space. What is place? Place is the one which is practically you can see. The space is there in the mind, it is abstract. How best you can utilize the place to get the benefits out of that particular area, right? Then, see, this first of all you need to define. After the definition, you need to talk about the physical geography of a region, like whether it is rich in mineral wealth, it is rich in agriculture, rich in something, tourism or something. Then, highlights the role of the quantitative revolution. These is techniques that are, what are the quantitative techniques that are being utilized in the spatial analysis? Whenever a spatial area needs to be developed there, some of the important techniques are being introduced. Like say, for example, in the case of agriculture, what is the spatial analysis of the agriculture? How best the land can be utilized in order to get more and more agricultural productivity. As given by Mr. Vantunan, it has to be from the center, it has to be only, the first place should be, there must be what is called as the growing of the perishable goods only. Then after this one, you need to go for some intensive agriculture cropping. Then after this one, you need to have some dairying products. That is how the spatial view is being given in the quantitative techniques. But is it relevant in the present context? How it is impacting is the physical part. Can we implement the same concept everywhere? No, we cannot implement. It is the physical view of the geographical area which will be impacting the spatial view. Suppose if the area is a mountainous region, can we implement? So in the first area, you need to go for only the agriculture. There the agriculture cannot happen. And so it is the physical structure which decides the spatial analysis. In the case of the northeastern area, it has to be some type of activity. In the case of the Gangetic Plains, it should be one other type of activity. In the case of the plateau regions, in the Deccan Plateau, it may be some other type of activity, right? The activities of that area should be decided by the physical structure, right? That is what the point that is given here. Then explain the heartland theory with reference to the contemporary geopolitical scenario of the world. All you people know the heartland theory, but contemporary geopolitical scenario. What do you mean by contemporary geopolitical scenario? Right now, what is happening? That is what the point. What are the things that are happening right now? Russia, Ukraine war. Okay, then Iran, Israel. Okay, then Azerbaijan, Armenia. Okay, now what is the relevance of this one? What heartland talks about? Heartland talks about the pivot area. What is that pivot area? It is in the northern part of Russia, the Siberian region, and the northern part of the Russia, and the parts of some of the eastern European regions, right? That is what the pivot area, where it is completely bounded on all the sides. That is what the heartland. What is the relevance of that heartland right now? They are not talking about the heartland now. They are talking about the beyond the heartland, what Mr. Mackinder has given. Heartland concept was given by Mr. Mackinder, right? Who happens to be the British political geographer. Pivot area. Apart from the pivot area, what he called that one as the rimland. Whoever holds the heartland, they'll be having a control over the rimland, and whoever is having the control over the rimland, they will be ruling the entire world, right? Now the pivot area is there with respect to the Siberian region, the Russian region. What is happening right now? All the political developments, you talk about any political development, all they are happening, like Armenia, Azerbaijan war, Ukraine, Russia war, like the Iran, the Israel region dispute that is happening, all they are related to the rimland. All they are related to the rimland. How this particular heartland is completely saved, and what is the geopolitical scenario right now it is happening. You need to talk about more about the rimland rather than the heartland. First of all, you need to talk about the heartland concept of Mr. Mackinder. Then after that, you need to talk about the geopolitical scenarios that are happening right now, like struggles here. What are the dominant struggles that are explain the theory's relevance by linking the modern power struggles. Modern power struggles. Someone is coming from outside and supporting Israel, right? Someone is coming from outside and supporting what is called as the NATO forces, right? In the case of this particular heartland and rimland, there is no the external factor, right? America coming and supporting is not there, right? But here they are talking about the powers that are happening in the modern times here. Modern power struggles, especially in the Central Asia. Russia, Chinese interest, especially with respect to the China. What is this one? It is occupying the entire South China Sea. It is not allowing the interest of neither the Philippines, nor the Vietnam, nor the any other country. It is holding the entire the South China Sea. These are the things that are there. You need to draw a small map and you need to explain this one, right? Then seventh one, on the basis of the Whitley's classification of agricultural regions. Explain the basis of Whitley's classification of agricultural region of the world. The question is not with respect to what is called as Whitley's classification. Basis. On what basis the Whitley's classification is there? The Whitley's classification is there with respect to the economic empowerment of the region. Also, it is the social development, social well-being of the people in that area. Whenever the people are going for more economical activities, performing a specific activity in that area, then the social well-being can be there for the people. That is what the base is. Based on that one, he has divided the agricultural land into different segments. Like it has to be, one area has to be having only ranching activity, one area has to be having only lumbering activity. This is how he has divided the area. Based upon that classification, keeping in mind, you need to talk about the basis. What you need to begin? You need to provide the background. What is the background? How the classification is happening. The system of categorizing the agricultural regions. One area has been given devoted to only farming, another area is devoted only for lumbering. What do you mean by lumbering? Cutting down the trees. One area is completely devoted to ranching, right? These are based on what is called as environmental conditions. Then basis for the classification includes like climate. Why that particular area is completely given for lumbering? Based on the economic activities and the climatic activities. Climate, then crop types. Moreover, the social conditions also, like the people are known to only grow that type of crops in that area. Crop types, livestock, techniques used in the farming activities. And also you need to draw the world map and show the agricultural classifications. Basically, it is talking about the classification and what the basis the classification is being delineated. If you can explain that one, this part is done. Then 7b, transnational. What do you mean by transnational? The people are not living in one area. They may have taken birth in one area, but right now they are living in other countries. Like many of the people who have taken birth in India are living in America right now, right? And so whenever our Prime Minister goes there, that Prime Minister will be greeted greatly in that area, and the country also is bringing certain policies, programs based upon keeping them in the mind, especially in the case of elections. They are pacifying the people of migrants. They are called as transnationalists. And so the transnationalist has become very important right now in the modern relations between the world countries. What is transnationalism? You need to explain what you mean by transnationalism. Why has the scale and scope of transnational linkage of diaspora multiplied in recent times? Why it has multiplied in the recent times, the transnational linkages? Because of globalization, privatization, where the people are having greater opportunities to go to different places in order to exhibit their knowledge, exhibit their creativity. And so whenever the people are moving on the other side, what is happening on the other side? When the people are moving from here, on the other side, the people they are in want of people, the man's work. Man work is the productivity can be more if more people are there, but the people are not there. And so different people who are having the skills, who are having the abilities, they are migrated to those areas, and they are giving benefit to those countries also. In turn, they are getting benefited. This is how the transnationalism is happening, right? And these diaspora, they are acting as a voice, they are acting as a representatives, they are acting as ambassadors of our country in different parts of the world. That is what is the statement given by our Prime Minister. All the diaspora, you are none other than the ambassadors of Indian culture, the ambassadors of Indian economy, the ambassadors of Indian. This is what he stated. When he stated, and so the question is, right? That you need to talk about the importance of migration from one country to another country. Always it is economically motivated. Then assess the criteria required for selecting the regions for developing plan. What is the criteria for selecting the region? What is the basis for the criteria? Let me give by taking one example. Say for example, the tribal development area. What is the criteria? The area should be sufficiently large. You cannot go for small village and can implement that as a regional development. No, the area should be sufficiently large. The first criteria. Second one, good number of people should be there of same tribe, right? The third one, their cultural linkages should be finally, definitely established in that area, and they should be having the common thread. What is the common thread? The common problems should be there. The common identified sources of problems and solutions should be there. Then that area should be selected, and the government can implement any such developmental program so that the people can be uplifted from that common thread from that area, right? The common thread that is present in that area can be uplifted because by using the concept called as the regional development in that region, right? This is about the concept of regional development and the selection criteria. What is the next one? What is the complementary region? With reference to the hierarchy of settlements described in the different types of complementary regions as proposed by the Chrysler's. Central place theory of Mr. Chrysler. What do you mean by the complementary area? Suppose the central place is there. The central place will be catering the needs of the sub places, meaning what? The lower settlements. In the case of settlements, there are certain hierarchy of settlements. Lower settlements, again, somewhat, the higher settlement, further still higher settlement called as the central place, right? Now, the central place will be catering the needs of the people to the lower order settlements, and these lower order settlements are in turn complementing the central place. Like the best example, suppose there is a main city is there. What is the main city's main economic activity? Maybe a factory, but because of the economic activity like the industry that is located there, the people cannot make use of that particular land for production of milk there, production of food there, production of agriculture there, production of the what is called as the ranching, nothing but the meat supply. And so who will be catering? The lower order settlements. The lower order settlements will be supplying the vegetables early in the morning. Lower order settlements will be bringing the milk. The lower order settlements will be catering the needs of the higher order settlements. And in turn, higher order settlement will be supplying all the major outputs, nothing but finished goods. Finished goods are being supplied from the higher order settlement. This is what called as complementary approach, right? In the case of central place, Mr. Chrysler has identified three such economic activities. One is called as marketing principle, where the constant K is given the value called as 3, meaning what? One higher order settlement can cater the needs of 3 lower order settlements in the case of marketing principle. In the case of transportation, K is given as 4. What is 4? One higher order settlement can cater the needs of 4 lower order settlements in the case of transport. Whereas in the case of administration, one central place can cater the needs of 7 lower order settlements. K is equals to 7 there in the case of administrative setup. These are the varieties of different types of complementary regions that are proposed by Mr. Chrysler. Is it clear? This is about the Chrysler's model. Then analyze the spatial changes and emerging patterns of semiconductor manufacturing in the world. Once upon a time, meaning what? In the pre-COVID time period, the semiconductor manufacturing industry was completely nucleated only in the China, Korea, right? To certain extent to Korea, and to certain extent even the area like Japan. But majorly it was China. But what happened after the post-COVID? This is the scenario. Spatial changes happened and emerging patterns. Who became a very vocal power with respect to semiconductors? Dubai came into picture. UAE. Why only the hegemony of China we are going to do? And Dubai has taken majority of the share. Vietnam came into picture. India came into the foreplay, saying that yes, we are also going to develop the very great semiconductors, because this particular semiconductor is a basic chip for every software oriented or the technological driven activity. And so India right now it is searching for its more play in the production of the semiconductors, right? And so this is the one. See here, analyze. It was earlier US and Japan, East Asia, China, Taiwan, South Korea, emerging economies like India, Europe, right now, right? This is about the semiconductors. The last question. In developing countries, migration rather than fertility will be the main driver of population dynamics over the next few decades. Examine the statement. Where this is the condition, it is the condition in the developing countries. It is in the developing countries. Whereas in the developed countries, is in the developed countries or developing countries? In the developed countries, basically what happens, when the people are highly developed, economically well settled off, they don't mind to have bondage. They don't mind to have relations. And so they want to enjoy their life to a maximum extent and they don't want to leave any traces. That is what is happening in the case of Japan. That is what is happening in the case of South Korea. The Koreans, The Koreans are the one which are the workaholic people. They don't want to have any bondages. Whatever they earn, they want to enjoy life and they want to leave no traces on the planet Earth. This is what the Koreans. Also the European countries like Germany, Italy, even Canada. Canada is traveling towards this particular direction. And when it is happening like this one, when the total fertility rates, meaning what, the birth rates are becoming lower and lower, there is no replacement rate. What do you mean by replacement rate? The two parents, father and mother, should be replaced by the two kids. But such replacement is not there. Whenever there is a proper replacement, the optimum population will be there. But the replacement levels are lower. The fertility levels are lower than the replacement ratio. And so, what the statement says, when the country is not in a position to produce their own population, then the migration will be taking place. The people from outside world, they will be coming and they will be performing the activities here. Right? That is what the statement. Examine the statement. In the developing countries, migration rather than the fertility will be the main driver of population dynamics. Right? And so the migration becomes the main driver for the economic development and the population dynamics. The people, whoever they got migrated, they are considered as the main population there, rather than the people who are taken birth there. Right? This is all about all the 8 questions that are there, and we have discussed to a certain extent in detailed manner, and I have given sufficient information what needs to be written. Right? With this, we are done with this one. If at all you want to have any query or any doubts, you can contact me here. It is my name and my subject, all small letters, JAYAKRISHNA, geography @gmail.com. Right? Take care. See you. We'll be meeting in the form of mail. Whenever you are having any doubt, you can get in contact with respect to geography, even environment also. Okay? Don't expect the reply mail immediately, but I will take some time. When I feel, when I am having time, I will be definitely replying you. Okay? Take care. Bye-bye. Jai Hind.